I'm a severe gambling addict. Every single addiction is gambling addiction. If you drink and drive, you're gambling. Addiction is one of those things you can't apply logic to. People go, what are you running from, Dave? And it's like, well, I'm fucking running from myself, dude. I don't want to look in the mirror. I don't want to see myself. I hate myself. So I'm just running. So as long as I'm like doing graffiti, running from the police, just hopping on a train, like literal running, like literally running to make sure I'm never sit still for 1 second. Like, what are you doing, Dave? I'm playing drums in a band. I'm at a casino. I'm traveling, doing the news for Vice. I'm painting at this. Like, I can't sit still because that means I have to sit with myself, and I can't do that. I can't do that. I couldn't do that. I can now.
Welcome to the Huberman Lab podcast, where we discuss science and science-based tools for everyday life. I'm Andrew Huberman, and I'm a professor of neurobiology and ophthalmology at Stanford School of Medicine. My guest today is David Choe. David Choe is an artist. He's a highly accomplished painter, graffiti and street artist, writer, podcaster, and television host. Many of you are perhaps familiar with David as the guy who famously painted the original Facebook offices, took equity for the job, and got rich. Now, that's a wild story, but David's whole life journey, what he did prior to and after that, and what he has overcome along the way is a million times wilder. As he shares today, David grew up hearing and thinking that he was destined for greatness, but also hearing and thinking that he was a total disgrace. Today, he talks with complete openness and vulnerability about addiction, about cycles of success and failure, and about channeling and overcoming deep shame. Today's podcast is unlike any other that I've hosted. David is wide open about his childhood abuse, his massive success, then career setbacks, relapses, and transmuting every possible emotion into art along the way. So no matter who you are, David's story, and just as importantly, how he's living right now, how he shows up on this podcast, will change what you think is possible for you in life. It will force you to look inward and to use whatever joy and pain you have inside of you to be the best human being you can possibly be. David Choe is, as we say in science, an N of one, meaning there is no other like him. Yes, because of his incredible art, but also for his willingness to share so openly and honestly so that others can benefit and grow. I consider it a true honor and privilege to host David on this podcast, and frankly, it's impossible not to love him. This one is incredibly raw and honest. It's also full of surprises, many of which are fun surprises. So buckle up. Before we begin, I'd like to emphasize that this podcast is separate from my teaching and research roles at Stanford. It is, however, part of my desire and effort to bring zero cost to consumer information about science and science-related tools to the general public. In keeping with that theme, today's episode does include sponsors. And now for my discussion with David Choe. David Choe, welcome.
Thank you for having me, man.
Man, huge, longtime fan. Love your art. I've been super inspired by your YouTube channel. I watch it sometimes before I do my drawing or I prepare for a podcast.
What are you drawing?
I draw a lot of anatomy on top of some paintings. So I do neuroanatomy on top of some paintings that my friend Tim Armstrong's been doing. Musician, lead singer.
Is it anatomically correct, or is it like exaggerated, or is it?
This is a really good question. So in essence, it's anatomically correct.
Yeah.
But around the turn of the last century, two guys, Cajal and Golgi, won the Nobel Prize for drawing the nervous system and showing these things no one had seen before. And they stripped away everything except
I'm gonna
the essential piece.
I'm going to come paint with you.
Yeah.
I don't like what's happening in your painting studio.
Okay.
I'm just from what you said so far, it's not good.
Okay.
But it's good because you did that, and then now we have to strip that away. We have to get at the core of it, because painting is. Wait, weren't you in the middle of complimenting me? Like, keep going.
I mean, I love your YouTube channel. I watch it before I prepare podcasts and before I paint or draw. And I'm back to drawing a lot now. And I converted an art gallery into a living space. And somehow I thought that would make me more inspired. But it turns out it does. A lot of things do. But I think the key with anatomy and trying to teach science with drawings is can't be too much detail, can't be too little detail. Otherwise, people are overwhelmed.
It's the best thing for, I think, everyone, but for someone like you who spends a lot of time in your head, I always say the longest journey you'll ever take in your life is from your head to your heart, and to be an intellectual person, you just live a lot. You try to rationalize and apply logic to everything. So painting is not that, music is not that, creating is not that. It's just to get to this. And so but it sounds just in the little that you've explained that your painting is very methodical and which
super meticulous.
Yeah,
I want to include every cell type. Yeah.
What's your threshold for positive affirmations? Can I go now? Like you?
I mean,
All right.
I like to think I have a thick skin, but
All right, let's
who
go.
knows?
No, it's all love. Okay. For anyone who's watching or listening, this is my first time meeting Adam.
Andrew. All good.
There you
Yeah,
go.
all good. All good. You knew my last name. No.
You know what? I was thinking about my friend Adam.
All good.
That used to skate with, I think. Adam Crone?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just thinking like
Upper Playground.
Yeah, Upper Playground.
Yeah,
So,
his dad owns Crone's Shoes.
Yeah.
In Palo Alto.
He
worked
wants
there.
he wants to reconnect with you.
Man, Adam
Yeah.
Crone and I grew up together.
Yeah, I was just
He had a mini ramp in his backyard. We hung out, we skateboarded, and then he started Upper Playground, the Walrus.
that's it.
He's your homie?
I used to I did tons of graphics for Upper Playground. So
Wow.
does anyone call you Andy?
My skateboard friends call me Andy. So yeah.
But that's it. Like no one in the medical science world.
Not anymore. No, not really.
That would have you start your podcast and you're like, I'm Andrew Huberman.
Professor, yep.
I'm gonna be all over the place because I'm nervous being here right now. I hardly do podcasts anymore, so I'm gonna be all over the place. If that it's gonna be sloppy.
This
All
is
right?
your canvas, man.
Okay.
Have fun.
Well, I'm just meeting you. I already called you the wrong name, which is horrible. I hate the black. I hate it. Like
The studio.
just you with the black T-shirt, the black mugs, the black I don't like it for you, because I used to only wear black because I was like, I'm a painter. I'm always dirty. I don't want to you could see the ketchup stains on my sweater, and it's like, okay, that's fine. But I just colors are very important in not just painting, but the palette for your house, or most people talk about in the modern age, modern man is, and I just make shit up, so you could correct. You're like the facts guy, but I feel like most people, human beings alive today, are gonna die a very, it's mean to say boring, but just the same death, right? You'll most likely die laying down in a bed or hospice or in a hospital bed. It's just like no one's dying. I know there's other countries where there's war and famine, but I'm saying modern cities, there's not a hero's death, right? So it's all the same. And then you just, the drive here in traffic, it's like everyone either has a black car or a white car or a gray car. And then you get to their house and their house is a beige or a white. And you're just like, we only got one of these, whatever your views on the afterlife are, but this is it. This is it. This is it. And it's just people get mad of I spilled paint on the floor. I got a scratch. I'm like, paint everything. Paint your fucking car. Paint and make my kids drew my sweater. It's my favorite, I
I like that sweater.
Paint, so I walk in here and I go, fuck, dude. And I'm projecting on you now. When I wore all black, it said a lot about where I was at in my life. And I don't know where you're at because I'm just meeting you, but it's everything is black on black, black on this, black T-shirt, black mug, black. And it's white T-shirt. For my dream, my selfishly, my dream is this podcast would start, instead of saying, hey, I'm Andrew Huberman, Stanford scientist, it's just, hi, I'm Andy. And then can you Photoshop a white T-shirt on?
I'd wear a white T-shirt.
I don't know. I don't like black. For me, I have hardly ever black clothes anymore. I want to add as much color because I just, maybe that's the season I am in my life or the time I'm in. But yeah, I appreciate you saying the nice stuff. I never thought I would be a YouTuber, but that's providing a lot of joy in my life. And so I want to say to you, I'm meeting you for the first time. I've never seen you clean shaven, but I imagine, your beard and facial hair to me look very cute. You're very handsome. Your voice, when I hear your voice, immediately is soothing. And I feel like this is a very kind person. Once again, without having, now I've met you for 5 minutes. I'm like, oh, this guy's super awesome. But, these kind of parasocial relationships where I could go even, I don't know how hard you want to go today, but like, it's like, I meet people all the time and then I meet them and it's like, I've already met you. Like we've already talked.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what your views on telepathy and spirituality. And it's like, it's just everyone will meet. Everything's going to happen the way it's going to happen and everyone's going to meet who they need to meet. It's like all energy, right? You put this like, why, you know, I could sit there and go, why does Andrew Huberman want to meet me right now? And it's like, well, what am I putting out in the universe and what is he putting out in the universe? And do the souls connect in that way, you know? So I said, if I ever meet him, I just want to tell him how cute he is, how soothing and relaxing. And like, there's something very, this is the invisible ingredient in like everything in art is, did the person care, right? Like, I don't care how skilled and crafted, whatever, like, did the person care? And like, when you do stuff in your voice, the tone, the frequency that's hitting my soul is like, oh, I don't know everything that guy's saying. He's using some big words, but I feel like he cares. And so I said, if I ever meet you, and I know a little bit from us talking on the phone, but I don't know your whole backstory, but I'm like, also, I project a lot and I make a lot of assumptions, which that's a defect that I'm working on. But I just wanted to say, like, even though you had a horrific, traumatic childhood, like, the fact that you're here, you're alive, and that you're doing all this good stuff, it makes me emotional because I'm like, I don't even know you, and I appreciate what you're doing, and you're still a little bit immature, but progress, not perfection, right? So I think that's it for now, but I just wanted to tell you all that because I feel that way about you. And I'm a big, sometimes you feel stuff and you're like, I'll text it to them or maybe I'll, and I just go, no, if I feel that, I just want to, especially if it's love and positivity. I know I started by telling you how much I hate your decor and your interior decorating, but it's because I like you. Like I wouldn't, if I'm like, I don't give a shit about this guy and I don't want a relationship with, I would never say anything. But I'm like, I don't know what the science behind it, but being surrounded by this much black cannot be good, right? It can't, like, just we're walking into a black hole right now. Like, I don't know. Anyways, that's what I wanted to say.
Oh man. Well, I'll take that in. Thank you. A lot there. Thank you.
Were you able to take it in?
Yeah, I was able to take in some of that.
All right.
It's interesting when you call me Andy, it's a different part of my persona just because that names carry a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you for that. I'm going to take that in. And, I get this little voice in my head that's saying, I want to be very clear. I had some rough aspects of my childhood. I've made good amends with my parents, so we're good now. I say that to, for all the reasons people can assume. But here's the thing. I knew somehow that we'd eventually cross paths. I just didn't know when. So you say the telepathy thing. For me, I was a postdoc at Stanford. That comes after PhD. You do like 5 years. It's kind of like a residency. And I'm from the South Bay. Mm-hmm. And I didn't want to go back to the South Bay because, as you know, no disrespect to the South Bay, a lot of interesting things come out of there, but it was pretty devoid of the things that I like, which normally are in cities like art, live music. It used to be like that. Grateful Dead were in Palo Alto. I saw Fugazi play at the Edge on California Avenue. There was a lot of interesting things about Palo Alto, but it became very right angles when the tech industry really exploded there. And in 2007, when I was a postdoc, was when you were muraling at Facebook. I learned that later.
Yeah.
But that was a time when I was back there for my science career and I was pretty miserable being close to home again, honestly. I didn't want to ever go back there for a while. It was not healing. But when I learned your story about muraling at Facebook and some of that, I was like, oh, there was at least one other person here who was like in the kind of spiritual, emotional fight with what the South Bay is. And then I realized that I heard an interview with Ian MacKay from Minor Threat. And it turns out he had been in Palo Alto because his dad was an academic or something like that.
Of course.
And he had skated some of the same ditches we had. And so there's a history of people being really frustrated with being there.
Really good Vietnamese food.
And is there really?
Yeah.
Oh, in Palo Alto? Or the South Bay?
Yeah, South
Bay.
Bay.
Like Castro Street, Mountain View. Yeah. And it's changed a lot. But Take me back to 2007. I don't know how you feel about historical stuff.
Okay, so I'm definitely down to time travel and time jump and all that, but because I'm older, I'm 49, and my attention span is just completely fried, I'll just say right now, I'm gonna get a lot of dates wrong. Like, I'm not like, things people are like, that's, like
2007 was when the Facebook offices were what kids from the South Bay call the neck of University Avenue, right before it goes under the train tracks. As soon as you're on the other side of the train tracks, Caltrain, it becomes Palm Drive, and it's up to Stanford. And so those offices now are Palantir, which catches a lot of heat for other reasons. But those offices, right as you go under the train tracks, for us, there was a curb cut right there, and there was a board slide thing. And so for the skateboarders, it was one thing, but then that was Facebook offices. And years later, I heard David Choe was muraling at Facebook. So how did that come to be?
I'm gonna be like very sloppy, like I said, and it's maybe some of the stuff, because sometimes it's the way I treat talking and journalism and podcasts is like, it's like a story in my own head. Someone else is like, just shut the fuck up and answer the question, right? But like for me, when I paint, I don't sketch. I go straight to a finish, so sometimes I'm figuring out what I'm trying to tell you, because you asked me a question that's very direct, but the way it went into my head was very abstract, because if you let me do a little paint mixing, I hope I'll answer your question. But do you know Pee-wee, like I'm wearing it today. Do you know Pee-wee's Playhouse?
I knew, Pee-wee, yeah. I met him actually once.
Paul Rubens?
Yeah, at a photo show of Mike Muller and Sage, who draws butterflies on Mike Muller's sharks and animals. Oh. And Pee Wee Herman, in his thing, in his suit, the whole thing, walked up. Laird Hamilton was there.
Nice.
And he walks up to Laird Hamilton. There are a bunch of people around. Everyone's trying to get to Laird, Laird. Laird's like this was 2017, and it was in West Hollywood. And Pee Wee Herman walks up and he goes, "I have to meet you." And Laird's like, and the best thing is Laird just goes, "Oh, hello, what's your name?" Like typical Laird. Like Laird's a real gentleman, always, And
he didn't know who Pee Wee Herman was?
And I couldn't tell if he knew or not.
God.
And he's like, "I've always wanted to meet you," this kind of thing. Yeah. And I was like, no way. And he had the whole thing, like the shiny lips and the thing. And I was like, that's Pee Wee Herman.
Oh, that's amazing. I love that.
Yeah.
All right, well, I mean, I'm definitely going to have to tell you my Pee Wee Herman story at some point.
I'd like to take a quick break and acknowledge our sponsor, 8 Sleep. 8 Sleep makes smart mattress covers with cooling, heating, and sleep tracking capacity. One of the best ways to ensure you get a great night's sleep is to make sure that the temperature of your sleeping environment is correct. And that's because in order to fall asleep and stay deeply asleep, your body temperature actually has to drop by about 1 to 3 degrees. And in order to wake up feeling refreshed and energized, your body temperature actually has to increase by about 1 to 3 degrees. 8 Sleep automatically regulates the temperature of your bed throughout the night according to your unique needs. I've been sleeping on an 8 Sleep mattress cover for nearly 5 years now, and it has completely transformed and improved the quality of my sleep. The latest 8 Sleep model is the Pod 5. This is what I'm now sleeping on, and I absolutely love it. It has so many incredible features. For instance, the Pod 5 has a feature called Autopilot, which is an AI engine that learns your sleep patterns and then adjusts the temperature of your sleeping environment across different sleep stages. It'll even elevate your head if you're snoring, and it makes other shifts to optimize your sleep. If you would like to try 8 Sleep, go to 8sleep.com/Huberman to get $450 off the Pod 5 Ultra. This is part of 8 Sleep's extended holiday sale, which goes from now until December 31st, 2025. 8 Sleep ships to many countries worldwide, including Mexico and the UAE. Again, that's 8sleep.com/Huberman to save up to $450 now through December 31st, 2025. Today's episode is also brought to us by LMNT. LMNT is an electrolyte drink that has everything you need and nothing you don't. That means the electrolytes, sodium, magnesium, and potassium, all in the correct ratios, but no sugar. Proper hydration is critical for brain and body function. Even a slight degree of dehydration can diminish your cognitive and physical performance. It's also important that you get adequate electrolytes. The electrolytes, sodium, magnesium, and potassium, are vital for the functioning of all cells in your body, especially your neurons or your nerve cells. Drinking LMNT makes it very easy to ensure that you're getting adequate hydration and adequate electrolytes. My days tend to start really fast, meaning I have to jump right into work or right into exercise. So to make sure that I'm hydrated and I have sufficient electrolytes, when I first wake up in the morning, I drink 16 to 32 ounces of water with an LMNT packet dissolved in it. I also drink LMNT dissolved in water during any kind of physical exercise that I'm doing, especially on hot days when I'm sweating a lot and losing water and electrolytes. LMNT has a bunch of great tasting flavors. In fact, I love them all. I love the watermelon, the raspberry, the citrus, and I really love the lemonade flavor. So if you'd like to try LMNT, you can go to drinkelement.com/Huberman to claim a free LMNT sample pack with any purchase. Again, that's drinkelement.com/Huberman to claim a free sample pack.
For me, art as a kid growing up, like the trifecta, my holy trinity of children's education, art, entertainment is Mr. Rogers, Bob Ross, and then, of course, Pee Wee Herman. I mean, Pee Wee Herman had Lawrence Fishburne, Gary Panter, Mark Mothersbaugh, like Danny Elfman. Like, he was like the ringleader of all this creativity, and he had like Mecca Lecca Hi, Mecca Hi Ni Ho. And do you remember the secret word? Oh. The secret word was like, if anyone our age that's watching Pee Wee's Playhouse, it was like, today's secret word is, I don't know. What's our secret word today, Rob? Microphone. And if someone says microphone, scream real loud. So can we do that today?
Sure.
All right. I'm counting on you. I want you to scream the loudest. And you don't take a pee until we take a pee. We got an agreement on that? Okay. All right. I hated the South Bay. I hate I have all the typical artist traits. I'm clinically depressed. I'm bipolar. I have all the process addictions: food, sex, gambling, shopping, workaholism. Like, thank God I don't have any of the chemical addictions because I'm allergic to everything. But severe OCD, severe antisocial traits. I just highly sensitive, so I just coming here today, like, you asked me and I kept like, I don't know, we did this like dance for a few months, and I if I'm just being honest with you, like, I don't know how to not be me, and sometimes, like, I put a mask on and I'm like, I think this is what Andrew wants me to be today, but I didn't even meet you yet. And so every time I've done Joe Rogan or any other podcast, like, I don't know, I just feel comfortable doing my own YouTube or my own podcast. But anytime anyone else asks me, it's I know who I am, and sometimes I don't, and sometimes I figure that out. And sometimes you meet people on the street at pavilions or at the supermarket, and they're like, and it's like this parasocial thing where it's like, I know you, I relate to you, there's something about that where, the intimacy of meeting another human being and then just showing them your heart and then telling them everything. And my parents aren't going to listen to this. My brothers don't listen to it. Like, so in a weird way, like, you're going to know more about me today than my own family. So the parasocial thing is it's real, right? Like, placebo effect is real, like all these things. So I got here early. I went for a walk down to those street, and then it's like just this beautiful view of the ocean. And it happens every time. It's like, I know what it makes me sound like. It's like, oh, this guy's like very unstable and unhinged, and I'd be the first to admit it. It's like, I cry all the time now. Like, I don't know what it was, just like, maybe just seeing all the burned houses on the way here, just knowing that I haven't talked in a long time, and there's no upside for me. And I told you that. I was like, I go on these podcasts, and I think Howard Stern, like 15, 20 years ago, and Joe Rogan, the multiple times I've been on his show, I think are the only two radio shows, podcasts that have ever just aired it without editing. Everyone else, every time you've ever heard me on any other podcast, it's either severely edited or they cut out huge chunks of it, or they didn't even air it at all. So I know that, and I know the world we live in today. And so there's something that went, in the narcissistic traits where like, I'm the fucking greatest artist in the world, to like, oh my God, I'm a piece of shit. Like it just, it's just like this thing. And before, when I was younger, it was like, everyone has to see everything. Everyone has, like, I think I'm so important that everyone has to see everything that I create, painting, podcast, book, like whatever it is. And then it went, like, my problem with my shit is it's all or nothing. So it's hard for me to find the middle. And so at this point now, I'm like 49. I live a very quiet dad life. I'm a family guy. And there's just thousands of paintings no one's ever seen. There's hundreds of hours, if not thousands of hours of podcasts I've never put out. There's books I've written. There's TV shows, movies that I've made that it's just, before the ego and the narcissist is like, you need to put this out because you're important and everyone needs to see how important you are. And now the flip side to that is, and maybe it's not healthy either, is like, I know who I am. I'm comfortable with myself and I don't need, I'm artificially blocked from everything. Like I don't have my own password to my social media. I have blocks on my phone, so I can't access the internet. So it's like, I do put all these things into place to like protect myself because I'm a sensitive person. So, as an artist, there's certain isms and stories. It's like, oh, starving artist, you're not going to make any money. Like struggling artist. There's these stories that people say and then you buy into them. But I had a few teachers along the way that influenced me, that like, there's like just certain moments happen in your life that live in your head rent free. And I have a lot of those. And so one of the stories is, I'm 49. It's like, you have to live in New York City. If you make it in New York, you make it anywhere. What the fuck am I doing in the 408? Like, what am I doing in Cupertino? Like in my head, the story's written that you're a fucking, and I hadn't done shit, right? But in my head, I'm like, you're a greatest artist ever in Gilroy. Like what, what I mean?
Sorry, no disrespect to Gilroy.
It's like the garlic capital of Garlic Fest,
sorry,
garlic ice cream, So there's a story in my head that it's like, I gotta get to New York City, right? Like I couldn't get any like leeway in Los Angeles. I'm born and raised in LA and I couldn't, and so I and now I look back, if I do a inventory of the most creative explosions and the most periods of creativity in my life, it's always found in the mundane. It's always found in cold temperatures. It's always found when there's no Wi-Fi. It's always found in a suburb of, it's like this story, like, I'm gonna get to fucking New York and I'm gonna be part of this movement. It's never that. Like, it's nice to romanticize that, but it's these moments of brilliance. Like whoever's listening right now, they're like, I got this, and then and then I'm gonna get to this, and then I'm gonna meet this person, and I'm gonna do and it's like, bro, I was fucking living in San Jose for 7 years. I met this wonderful lady. She was my girlfriend for 7 years. But like at that prime, I was 23 and I was like, and for me, the stakes are so high because so one of the teachers was my mother, right? My mother is hardcore born again Christian. So science does not enter the picture, right? It's like blinders on. And through her, I learned blind faith, right? Jesus Christ, that's it. There's no. So wait, you're telling me there was an actual ark with two animals and all the two animals didn't kill the other and and there was an Adam and there was a snake that talked. It's like, yeah, like no hesitation. So she gave me that gift of like, hey, science, like facts, no, blind, like just, holy shit. Like there's nothing could falter her. And you're like, you're fucking stupid. You're ignorant. Like, but she's not. She's a bright woman. And now I look back and like, I just met you. You're a brilliant guy. And I sit here and I go, I know some of the smartest people on the planet. You know some of the smartest people on the planet. And they're all dumb. They're all like idiots. You're like, wait, you're a genius. You have photographic memory. You created this company, and you made some of the dumbest decisions I've ever seen. It's like, yeah, you're really good at this, but you don't know relationships or you don't know. So my mom taught me through just not anything but just watching her of just this absolute belief. And one of her beliefs was, you're my son, this is some Jesus shit, like me, who was like, how I explained, this is fucking neurotic mess, like growing up in an unstable family and all that, got fucking molested, every abuse, physical abuse, emotional abuse, like just chaotic because they were working, and then I was just like left out in the wild, abandoned, spiritual abuse, all this shit. And she's just like, in the same way she believed in God and Jesus, she's like, you're the one. You're the greatest artist. And I'm like 5 years old. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? She's like, no one's better than you. No one's better than you. You're the best. You're going to be the great, your name's David, like a lot of Koreans named after Bible. She's like, I named you after King David. You're going to be a king. And I go, but now in hindsight, I'm like, and yes, King David beat Goliath, but he also was a sex addict and had a lot of mental illness and like failed a lot, She didn't tell me all that shit, So she's raising me, she's brainwashing me. It's like, you're the best, you're the greatest. And then I've met other artists where it's like everyone has their own paths. Some become great because the parents are like, you're nothing, you're a piece of shit, you're the worst. Who the fuck do you think you are? I had the opposite. I had a mom it didn't matter. It didn't matter, like, but mom, look at how horrible. She's like, you're the greatest. And so it's like, at some point, I hate myself. I have like such a low self-opinion of myself. I'm just down on myself, just this kid, just constantly getting bullied and like the world just using me. And I'm like, of course she says that. She's my mom, like, but she just brainwashed me into believing that I'm the best. And I would, as a trickster and a shapeshifter, I would, what most artists lack is like an ability to communicate with words. That's why they're such brilliant artists. And that's why they can make great music and all this, because I can't, like I'm going to probably talk to you for a few hours today and I'm going to leave here feeling misunderstood. I'm going to be like, fuck, because I'm not, in the same way I can like translate what I feel in a painting. It's very like, it's like when people describe like ayahuasca or something, they're like, try to describe it and they're like, the words that you're trying to look for don't exist for what you just went through. So that's kind of why I get really self-judgmental. But I'm like, this woman, and then, my dad, he loves me, but he's like, he's all right. He's okay, And I'd watch my mom, who was just like a brutal businesswoman, and she would transform. I spent most of my life either poor or middle class, like being wealthy came later. But so, we were on welfare a lot, or businesses burned down in the LA riots. Like I saw my parents struggle a lot, but then they would do good. And they had the gambler's mentality, which a lot of Asians do. And I have that too.
Which is?
Just, I don't know if this is true, but I heard that Asians have the gambling gene more than other races, especially the women. Like most women don't have the gambling gene the same way men do. So my mom would gamble like flipping houses, or like not in a casino, but like just huge swings, which you're like, I grew up with a fearless woman, but so we wouldn't have stuff. But then I would watch my mom open the trunk of her car and put on like fake jewelry, cubic zirconium, because she's about to go into a meeting and ask for a lot of money, and just insane lying, but hardcore Christian. So like the hypocrisy there. Like I'm trying to work on my own breaking out. So it's like, I'm going to be hypocritical in this interview. And at the end, hopefully I'll be able to correct any exaggerations or lies. But that's a new tool that I have. I used to just, whatever for the story, I lie to tell the truth, all those things. So I'd watch my mom transform from like a poor woman. The mentality was, she's like, my son is the greatest artist in the world. And like, I'm coming out of my Toyota hatchback with the broken window, but when I go into this meeting right now, you're not going to see that. So she transformed herself into this rich, powerful woman, and just like I'm just sitting there, a kid in the corner, watching this woman get what she wants. I'm like, holy fuck, what the fuck was that performance? And then just coming out, and I'm like, but mom, that's not like those things you said. That wasn't real. That's not true. And she's like, yeah, they don't need to know that. And I'm like, but we just went to church and we learned the 10 Commandments and you're not supposed to lie. And it's like all this like confusion. And then I meet Sean Parker, who, just the sweetest kid, he started emailing me right when he started Napster. He goes, I have all the emails. I keep certain emails and voice messages, and I just that's my own nostalgia. But like I have a voicemail and a handwritten letter from Howard Stern saying thank you for getting me into watercolors. And I was like, dude, my fucking hero. Like, yes, like it's such a good feeling. I have a voice message from Pee Wee Herman, which I'll share later, and all my early emails with Sean Parker I kept just because he's such an interesting, like, wonderful. I know like the image of him, but like we don't talk like we used to, but I still consider him a friend, and I'm forever grateful to him. But so I met him at a time when like, I don't even know how to like just complete disgrace and shame to my family. It's like the immigrant story. Talk to any immigrant. Why the fuck did you leave your home to come to another country? Because it was shitty there. That's it. You're not born in a country and you're like, dude, let's leave, right? The only reason why anyone's here is because it was shitty where you were at, right? So then it doesn't matter if you're Asian or Mexican, whatever. You came here for a better life. And what does that mean? Work your ass off. So we're in a nation of workaholics, right? This is an entire country of workaholics. So my parents, I didn't go through it, but they're like, Japanese tanks rolled down the street. And, they have the typical like fucking war, famine, all that stuff. So they get over here and like born and raised in Los Angeles, it's like, don't know who I am, don't know where I belong, just bullied, abandoned, abused over and over, and just, I didn't even really know the concept of suicide, but I hated myself. Like I couldn't live in like, it felt like I was burning inside my own body. And so even made fun of like I listened to, we have the same taste in music. I listen to Minutemen, Minor Threat, I'm blasting Downset, Inside Out, Soundgarden, Slaves and Bulldozers. I used to put on Soundgarden, Slaves and Bulldozers, punch myself as I'm in my room, a teenager, just punching myself as hard as I can, just to like go into like a berserker rage. And I just back then I found pornography, and it was just so soothing. Like it was like getting high. Like I would just masturbate like over and over again. So I'm like but I would do like weird self-harm. I guess the kids call it edging, but I'd masturbate, but then not come, and then beat myself up. And I'm going through puberty, and I would go out and I'd shoplift spray cans, like just at, hardware stores. And I'm listening to, I would get like a Faith No More, like In Living Colors, just like some song. And I would just like an OCD, just repeat like some lyric in it. I am a patient boy. And I would just like go into like a trance, and I would just go out and I would just fucking spray paint. And I'm living at home, so I'm not hiding this shit. I come home, my hands covered in black paint. This is what we fucking came to this country for? This is why we fucking left another country, so you could come here and not be an artist, but do you're a disgrace. You're a disgrace to our race. And my dad would just like fucking throw me against the wall. And I'm like, I don't care, dude. I don't care what you're like. Do you understand? Like, I wasn't like actively trying to kill myself, but I didn't like, do you understand that everything you care about, I don't care? Do you get that? And like, you start the show, and I was laughing because it's like, hey, I'm Andrew Huberman, scientist, Stanford, this, and I'm like, I don't care. Like, I like Andy. Like, I like that, And then I was like, you know what? This is like stolen valor. Sean Parker starting Facebook with Mark Zuckerberg. I'm there at the beginning. And so he brings me in. And at the time, when this is years, the emails back and forth, he's like, because the energy I was putting out at the time was what I'm telling you right now. Just, I don't give a fuck. I don't care what you care about. Like, I don't, like, it's just complete. I don't care if I go to jail. I don't, like, I'm just painting on everything. And it's like graffiti. Graffiti is vandal. It's not an art. It's not graffiti artist or street art. It's fucking vandalism. It's a crime. And people are telling me, anyone out there doing street art, like, there's so many rules. There's so many, like, what did you write? Did you used to tag or anything?
No, but I had a good
Shut
friend
up.
from
If you skated, you definitely had like a
there were some kids in our crew that
cubes.
No.
What did you tag? Come on.
No, because I had friends who were like graphers, and they like boxed us out. You know, the Under Shadows kids.
You never did graffiti?
No, but we can talk about this later. I want to hear from you now.
Okay.
But later we should talk about Orphan and the Under Shadows crew, which is a kind of a thing in the Bay Area.
Yeah, I heard of them.
Yeah, he was a good friend of mine. But anyway, I didn't graffiti.
Okay, so
I drew on my grip tape.
All right, that's good.
But no, I wasn't a tagger, wasn't a graffiti guy.
Yeah, so I'm out doing like that, and like, we could have like a conversation about creativity and this and that, and it's like I can't. It's very hard to talk about It's because it's like, can you teach a craft? Can you teach a skill? Can I teach you to paint the Mona Lisa? Yeah, I know how to do all that. I know how to, like, I went to school. Like, I taught myself. I watched videos. Like, you could teach yourself how to paint something to make it look like something. That's a teachable skill. But creativity, where does that come from? Are you just born with it? Is it from deprivation? It's like a, I can only share what my path is, and it's like the embarrassment. Like, you're Asian, you need to get a 4.0, you need to get into UCLA, you need to be a doctor or a lawyer, and it's like I'm the middle child. Me and my two brothers, like, long hair, listening to heavy metal and punk. Why are you doing that white shit? Like, and then you got Asian kids that are into heavy. It's like there's no identity, right? And then it's just like lost. Just like, what the fuck is, like, we don't belong anywhere. Just like the Asian depictions in media is like long duck dong. Asians have small dicks. They can't drive. They're good at math. It's just, nothing's good, right? And I'm like, I'm just trying to figure out my way in this world. And I remember, Sean just was attracted to, like, whatever little art. I'd start getting some noticed and juxtaposed, and I was starting to do graffiti everywhere. And he's like, I want that. Whatever that is, I want that. Like, I want to be part of that. And I said, and I forgot what my painting, it was like right when I couldn't sell a painting, and then all of a sudden they were selling for a couple thousand. And he's like, and he was a teenager still. And he goes, I want your art, but the problem is I'm being sued right now for $1 trillion because every single song is a lawsuit. I mean, whatever, it ended up the way it ended up. But I remember he goes, he showed me a screenshot or whatever. He's like, I'm being sued for $1 trillion right now, so I can't really afford your art, but, like, I'm going to get it. So we started this relationship, and he would send me these crazy, like, abstract texts of emails of what he wanted me to paint. And then he started another company called Plaxo, and he's like, and then finally, you're catching me in the South Bay. I'd met this girl. We fell in love, and I moved to San Jose, just the most culturally dead place. And everyone's like rollerblading, working at Apple or MySpace or eBay or, some tech startup. And they're like, we're cool because we have a trampoline and we have a kitchen area where you can have all the Red Bull and snacks you want. And we have bunk beds. I'm like, that's also, you could just keep working, And so I meet Sean, and he's like, dude, we're starting this company called Facebook, and, like, we finally have some money, and, like, dude, and he's like, where are you at? And he didn't know all this, but I had just gotten out of prison. I was in jail in Japan because I had beaten up an undercover security guard. I was 27 when I got out, and I owed everyone money. I owed my girlfriend money. And so I needed money bad, and I was in, like, a lot of trouble. I didn't know how I was going to pay everyone back because it's really hard to sell a painting, But my paintings did sell once in a while, and they were starting to get pretty expensive. And then all the art that I did in jail, I used to work for Vice magazine. I say work but I never got paid. But I
They didn't pay you?
No, I think people, if anyone's listening, is a little side tangent is, and it's going to definitely sound like OCD, like I'm keeping a list, and maybe I am, because I don't think about it, but I was sitting the other day and I go, they all owe me money. Everyone I've ever worked for. Like people like, I got to get paid. Like someone develops a skill, like I'm good at songwriting or this or that. And then they go, well, I got to, like the young people's men, well, that's my craft. I got to get paid. I go, I never got paid. I worked for Nike, Levi's, Ruka, Giant Robot, Vice, fucking even my friend Steve Aoki, and like just like 88 Rising. If I sit here, I'll name everyone. But like either they didn't pay me what they said, or I had to threaten to kill them for them to send me, or they just never paid me. You know, and I met Gavin McInnes when he started Vice, and he had seen some of the art that I did in Giant Robot. He saw that I went to the Congo. He saw and he's like, hey, and it was all punk rock, Vice when it was like the big format. And he's like, dude, and he just believed in me. I don't know what he saw. He's like, dude, send me a drawing of cops beating up this, and I did it fast. He's like, I need it by tomorrow, and I was like, I can do it. And then he just was like, hey, write me a story about some shooting in LA, Koreatown gangster shit. And I go, but I'm not. He's like, just do it. And at one point, that was another figure that resonated in my mom of like, the rules, reality doesn't apply. I'm sitting there going, wait, but I'm not a journalist. I didn't fact check anything. And there was some issues of Vice where I wrote 5 different articles under a woman's name, a black guy's name, you know, like just made up names, articles just to fill up pages. And I would have done the comic section, illustrations, music review, street, you know, fashion, you know, the do's and don'ts. And I'm just like, you can do that? And like, I had already been groomed for that because of my mom. It's like, no, reality doesn't apply. My mom thinks I'm the best artist, and now here's, you know. So Sean's like, okay. And so I'm in what I feel is like purgatory, the 408, San Jose, Milpitas. You know, I'm just like, what the fuck is this? Like, and I'm telling myself, I gotta get there. When I get to New York, it's like this Golden Gate, like end of the Golden Road, like Wizard of Oz. Like when I get there, then I'm gonna get discovered, and then someone's gonna be like, because what is it? You know, like what? Like people are like, what is? And I go, I can be a hater. I can be a loving, sweet, selfless person. I could be like a very hard, judgmental hater to myself, and so I take this so seriously. Like what we're doing here today is talking. I mean, it's mostly me talking. I could see that, but it's like we're having a conversation. But I think without sounding, it's like I think it's important. That's why I'm here. Like I said, like I'm like, why? I feel like I trust you even though I just met you, but like, yeah, I fucking puked down the street because I go, what's the upside? Like I'm gonna talk and then maybe I say something that I didn't mean, or I say it the wrong way, or it gets clipped weird or edited, and I go, I think it's important. I want to come. I want to talk to you, and that's how I feel about my art. So what is that? What is art? What is creativity? And for me, it's like, I think sports are very gay, especially skateboarding. Like if I never played sports, I would have never seen another man's penis, you know, like, and then in my time in sports, it was very rough because I told myself, any athlete that I paint with, they always start saying the same thing. I suck at drawing. And I go, why did you do that? Why did you immediately shoot yourself in? Like, who said that? Did someone else say that, or did you say that? They start with saying something negative, and I go, and then I go, that's exactly what I say if they try to teach me how to throw a free throw. I go, oh, this is gonna suck, and they go, why did you do that? And so for me, growing up, I grew up in a lot of black neighborhoods where the second, you know, I don't know how to play basketball, but the second I try and I fuck up, it's like, look at the Chinese kid fucking try. And so I go, all right, you know what? I'm not even gonna try it, you know? And it's like, well, you should have just come at like 5 a.m. when no one was there, you know? But like, I was so sensitive. I was like, I don't wanna. So I did things in you know, it's art is a solitary sport for the most part. You know, there's no Rob there. It's just me. Like even in the thing, it's like this. Like, don't look at my sketchbook. But in here, I can fuck up and fix, erase, whatever. But so like in sports, you know, it's like you're slapping guys' asses, you're taking showers with them, you're doing all this like male bonding stuff. You're just spending a lot of time with other men, right? Like, and I'm like, oh God, like, what is the feeling? I'm trying to isolate the feeling. What? And I remember, because I don't, like, I tell this stuff not to be like, feel sorry for me or I'm a victim. I don't feel like that. I mean, I'm just I'm telling you what happened. And part of it is you do like, what would you rather? Would you rather someone beat you up for 5 minutes or have the whole world read your diary? You know, like these kind of, and luckily I had both happen. You know, I've been beaten to an inch of my life. I've had broken bones. I've been stabbed. I've been burned. I've been like everything physically you can think of, and I'm still here, right? So there's not much. Like because I have my mom's delusion. Like when I talk to Joe, and he's shorter than me, but I know he could probably, like, logically, I know he could probably kick my ass. I have no fighting background, but in my head, I'm like, I'm pretty sure I could kick his ass, and he would fucking that's just the way I walk through life, like I still believe in Santa Claus. People go, I can't believe I just said that. I don't. I think that's the first time publicly I've ever said that.
We're coming up on
no, I know.
You know, Christmas. By now, I'm sure that many of you have heard me say that I've been taking AG1 for more than a decade. And indeed, that's true. The reason I started taking AG1 way back in 2012, and the reason why I still continue to take it every single day, is because AG1 is, to my knowledge, the highest quality and most comprehensive of the foundational nutritional supplements on the market. What that means is that it contains not just vitamins and minerals, but also probiotics, prebiotics, and adaptogens to cover any gaps that you might have in your diet, while also providing support for a demanding life. Given the probiotics and prebiotics in AG1, it also helps support a healthy gut microbiome. The gut microbiome consists of trillions of little microorganisms that line your digestive tract and impact things such as your immune status, your metabolic health, your hormone health, and much more. Taking AG1 consistently helps my digestion, keeps my immune system strong, and it ensures that my mood and mental focus are always at their best. AG1 is now available in 3 new flavors: berry, citrus, and tropical. And while I've always loved the AG1 original flavor, especially with a bit of lemon juice added, I'm really enjoying the new berry flavor in particular. It tastes great, but then again, I do love all the flavors. If you'd like to try AG1 and try these new flavors, you can go to drinkag1.com/Huberman to claim a special offer. Just go to drinkag1.com/Huberman to get started.
I just remember I don't know, it's changed now, but I remember when I was a kid, it was around 6 or 7 when they start going, there's no fucking Santa. But I was 8 and I was like, and they're like, how dumb are you? And I understand this reflects back to my mom and Jesus. I go, and they go, but you've literally never got any presents from Santa. How? And I'd go to shame. I go, because I'm a bad kid. I cussed. I was like, I stole stuff from the supermarket, you know, like, and they're like, hey, fuckface, Santa's not real. And I just was like, but he is. I believe that he is. And I believe, I go, there's him not giving me a present is like, because I put him in this God category. Maybe he's not God, but maybe he's a God, like a demigod or something. And they go, how does he know if you're naughty or nice? I go, telepath. How does he get every fucking present to every kid in that time? I'm like, oh, he's a mutant. He can multiply. He can make copies of himself. How does he get through that tiny chimney? I go, teleport. Like, it's not even a question. I just know, I believe it. And I don't care how stupid you think. Like, I guess this is me coming out with my Santa Claus, but it's just like, I just believe that. And you can't say anything to make me not believe that. That's my blind faith that I got from my mom. So like every Christmas, I'm almost 50. I'm a fucking middle-aged man and I go, maybe this is the year I'm gonna. But now I look back and I go, the gift he gave me of giving me nothing gave me everything, right? So I'm sitting there and I'm drawing, but I have that story in my head too. Like, I suck. Oh, fuck, that doesn't look like Batman. Oh, his arm looks weird, you know? And then at some point, to this day, all the physical and emotional pain, just the physical pain, like It passes. I've broken bones. I've had my face just pummeled, like just where you wouldn't reckon, disfigured. But it passes. And if I think back, I don't remember it. But the pain that stays is like heartbreak, betrayal, abandonment. And I just remember my dad would make us keep a journal because he just wanted us to start learning how to write. And it started with, if I take you guys to the movies, you have to write a movie review. And it was like we were 8 years old, 7 years old, just, today we saw Karate Kid. Johnny got chased by skeletons. The end. It was like that, like a little kid, but he's like, you have to do it. Goonies was cool, so we kept the thing. But then he never asked to read it. He just wanted us to do it. And I was like, oh. So I started like getting more brave. I was like, I really like this girl at school. And I would just start getting really vulnerable and open and just knowing, because my brothers don't give a shit. But then the thought of like, what if someone ever read this? So I was like opening myself up and just letting, and I was like, oh my God, it felt so good. Like I can't tell anyone like I'm having these kind of feelings, or I fucking hate dad, whatever. And I would take the bottom drawer out of my desk out and I would hide it under there. And I shared a room with my brother, so I always did it when I thought I was being secretive. And I was somewhere between 7, 8, 9. It just, as you get better at writing, and I got more, once I got more comfortable knowing that I just started writing everything. Like, my brother fucking fart smell. Like, I wish, just like everything I would write, just completely. And I came one day and I saw both my brothers on the bed reading it. And I remember my face just, like, it felt so hot. Like I felt like someone had just, like, ultimate betrayal. And it was like being naked. That's why I bring up I felt more naked than being in a room full of naked guys showering, like slapping. Like, it was the most vulnerable, like, they were being so merciless. You like her and you did that. I can't believe you, because I wrote everything in that journal. And I thought I was going to die from shame and embarrassment. And they, like the way kids are, brothers can be, it was merciless. And they made fun of me for years for that. And in the same way my face was disfigured and I've had physical abuse and all that, I lived through it. And I was like, I'm still here. And so why the fuck am I going to be a pussy when I draw? When I draw, no more like I'm going to draw Batman like this artist or that artist. Oh, I'm going to draw like, okay, that's fine. You're like trying to figure out how to work with tools and that's fine. Skill, craft, great. But like this, like showing you, like, so I had been trained now for heartbreak, right? Like, a lot of artists spend their whole life being not validated, bullied, rejected, and then finally they figure out how to draw something where people are like, yes, we like that. And so they never grow. They do that same verse, that same flow forever. And then you got people like Andre 3000, they're like, I don't care what, I'm gonna do flute shit. It's like, well, we don't like that. And it's like, I don't care. I'm an artist. You got someone like Flea who's like, I'm gonna just do performance art. And I'm like, I don't even like half that shit, but I just love them because and I go, how fucking brave is that? How brave is that? But I remember just to this day, right? I am a very successful, established artist. And yet today there's people that are like, that's the fucking worst art I've ever seen. And I go, cool. Like, but if you don't have that background of just having your heart ripped out, it is the most painful thing to put yourself out on to pour that's you, that's your soul. And someone's like, and then especially if you're trying to sell it, they're like, no, thanks, So to have a guy like Sean Parker, who's younger than me, but just not even the art, he's just like, I like you, like whatever that is. And then I want to change the world with this kid that I met, Mark Zuckerberg. And so I meet him with his flip-flops and, I meet the whole crew. And I go, what do you want me to do? And he's like, I want you to fucking paint everything. I want people to be scared. I want investors to be scared. I want everyone to just be like, we're not MySpace. We're not eBay. I want them to be horrified when they come in here. I want you to just fucking paint the microwave, like everything. And I go, indoors, right? And he goes, yeah. And I go, all right, so just like cover up your computers. And then they're like, no, we're gonna be working here. And I'm like, you know how toxic these chemicals, like I work in spray paint, like I have brain damage because of this shit. Like I have like memory issues. They're like, we don't care. They're like young. They're like, fuck the world, hack the world, like all that shit.
Hack the world.
They love saying, So I was there and they would be like, let's fucking blast Daft Punk. Like I don't, this is a world I'm not, I like going into different worlds, and they're like, we're gonna blast Daft Punk because I guess it's like something with the repetitiveness and the coding, and we're gonna do these hackathons where we just fucking hack into shit and fucking. It was punk rock. It was like a very nerdy punk rock, but they're like, we don't give a fuck. Like, and I like that spirit, but they were such nerds and they were so earnest. There was you've never heard people talk like that where they're talking, they're like, and we're gonna change the world. And I'm like, I'm into that, whatever that is. And they thought they were so cool when they thought they were giving me a Stanford email. I go, because I'm not on social media. Like I'm a Luddite. I'm the last to whatever new technology. I'm like, all right, like I've never touched AI, any of that. And so I was like, you guys are trying to be like MySpace, but MySpace it's already here. Like for the young people listening, like there was no Facebook, there was no Instagram, it was MySpace. It was just dominated. And they're like, yeah, but we're fucking MySpace for Ivy League, Harvard.
Oh, that's right. In 2007, that's right, because that was a postdoc. In order to get Facebook, you had to have an Ivy League or a Stanford email.
Yeah,
technically Stanford's not in the Ivy League.
You're not the only one, motherfucker. Stolen valor. So
I love it.
So I forgot what it was. It was like Choe at Stanford EDU, but like I remember he gave
Probably
it.
Still exists.
I don't know. I remember him giving it to me like it's something I wanted. I was just painting. He's like, Dave, you don't have to go. I'll get you a Stanford email, and then you could be part of Facebook. I'm like, I don't want to be. I don't care. I don't care what you like. You want to be. You and Mark and all these guys want to be in this like, and they're like, he was like confused because he's like, you don't want the whatever like respect and whatever comes with having a Stanford. I go, no, I hate education. I hate learning. I hate teachers. I hate, like, what the fuck are you talking about? And he was like, I go, why don't you just make it for everybody? And he's like, oh, like, the thing is, like, it was so funny when the David Fincher movie came out because it's just an awesome movie, but it's just, I was there for all of it and just did not, like, some of the facts are right, but it just didn't go down that way, But so Mark is like a genius, and Sean, I mean, similar to my mother. It's like, I think Naomi's still there. It was like Naomi, Mark, Sean, Dustin, and me just like gassing them out. They're just trying to code like, and I'm like listening to all their conversations and I'm like telling them how nerdy they are. I'm like, bro, make it for everybody. Don't, like, and they're like, and I would listen in on all their conversations. They're like, oh, it's so fucking cool. Dave Choe's painting our office. And I was like, oh, they like me, like I'm being validated, not just by my mother, And so, I do everything backwards and we start to discuss payment, And at that time, I had once in my life sold a painting for like 10 grand. And it was like a fluke. And that's another story that I could tell about rejection and all that. But so I just did some dumb, ignorant math. I was like, well, that painting was this big. And I was like, 60 grand, And I needed that. I needed that to pay off everyone. And then at the time, up until going to jail, like I had been a thief. I was doing a lot of stealing to support my, like I was like, graffiti doesn't pay the bills,
Stealing your paint.
Stealing everything.
Was Facebook office painted with stolen cans?
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably. Yes.
Yeah. My graph friends, graffiti for those that don't know.
Yeah.
The graffiti, they were like world-class crooks.
Yeah.
Because they were always stealing pens and paint and,
Exactly. It's like like it doesn't pay the bills,
Yeah.
So what had transferred, the nature of addiction is if you don't get to the root of it, it just keeps jumping, right? Like whack-a-mole. So it whack-a-mole into my background, which is watching my parents take huge. So I got into gambling. So I was just there was every paycheck, anything. It was always, I got to figure out a way, because gambling feels like stealing, and it's, and I sat there and people were just like, you work at Facebook? Like that's, my friends that aren't in that academia, they're just like, that's like the shitty MySpace, like look at the font, look at the, all the artsy like look at the designs, the fucking, what is that? The name, Facebook, come on. Like that's the most creative, And I said, I think I'm going to ask them if I could get shares in the company,
Did you understand equity in that whole thing?
I don't understand anything. And it's like, I have shares in other companies that are all worthless, right? Like it was growing up with my mom, watching her, that if I didn't have that, like and I don't even understand that shit. I remember being having lunch with Zuck's parents, and like, he comes from a nice family. And I think Yahoo or Microsoft, someone had offered him right in the beginning $1 billion for it. And he's like, no thanks. And he's still sleeping on the fucking mattress on the ground, eating Doritos. And I'm like, I'm trying to like pay my fucking, all my friends back. And I'm like, oh, he doesn't give a shit. He doesn't care about money. Like he cares about like what he cares about. It's like such a singular focus. He's like, I want to fucking I want to bring the whole world together. It was, youthful idealism. And I remember going to work one day. I just loved working there because I don't get jobs like that where they're like paint everything. Like you're here like doing this and I'm painting around, like I'm painting on everything. And the best part is that they didn't even like what I was painting. Like Mark would come and he's like, what is that, dude? And like Sean's like, Dave, that other thing you did I saw at the art show? Can you? And I was like, you didn't ask for that. You said fucking destroy, like you said scare people when they walk,
As I recall, there was like a big primate, like monkey with jagged teeth and some
crazy. I was, and I was gassing myself out, like I'm like doing all that shit without a mask on. It's all going right into my brain. I'm like, whatever toxic spray paint fumes does to your brain, and there's no fresh air coming in. And I remember Sean Parker, just bronze skin, like $200 haircut, custom suit. And I go, who are you, man? And he was doing what my mom was doing. He was just fucking doing push-ups and I was like, this skinny little nerd, he was like handsome. And I go, oh, this is what my mom used to do before she went into a bit. She used to fucking, and he's like, oh, we're gonna fucking raise some money. Like he was. And I go, holy fuck, this guy's so sick, And he transformed his physical appearance because he was about to go into like serious fundraising. And that's when I met the PayPal guy and Peter Thiel. And I was like, this guy's fucking, like people give all the credit to Mark, but I'm like, Sean, the guy he was an artist in, and also like out of control, which like that attracted each other. And then he was there when he got fired and all that stuff. But I remember like the impact that had on me, like just, wow, like you've heard the fake it till you make it, right? It's like, I know I'm not the best artist in the world, but my mom thinks so. But Sean Parker, like other people think so. But I'm like, but that's whatever. They're just kissing my ass or whatever. And then there can be a switch. And I think it's like sick and tired of being sick and tired, or enough is enough. Like I just can't take it anymore. It's like, well, I can't live like this anymore. I feel like I'm trapped. I feel like, and so then it's like, oh, you can't travel. You need money for that. Well, I'm going to hitchhike then. I'm going to hop on a freight train. I saw the entire world with nothing, no money. Like, well, it must be nice to be rich. I go, I'm rich now. I've had nothing my whole life, and I just had to fucking fight for it. And like, would I recommend it? Like, a lot of it was illegal. I spent a lot of time in jail, but also jail didn't hurt me. I lived, and I spent some time there. I got to learn who I am, and so it's just to piece out the skills you learn for what's creativity, what's business, what aided me and helped me at this time in my life which no longer aids me now, and how to like, because the other thing I learned from my mom is just adapts. Oh, our business just burned down in the LA riots. And instead of like sitting there, it's like, okay, now we're doing this. Now we're doing this. Now we're doing this. And I'm like, I remember getting a job in Beverly Hills right after high school. I was 18, 1994. And it was at this weird comic book, like a high-end comic book store called Comics Top Hits. I'm a comic book guy. I love comics. And I remember I begged the guy for a job. I'm like, please, please. And he's like, all right, fine. The customer seemed, because I would just hang out there and talk to the customers anyways. And I remember one day Stan Lee showed up and I'm like, fuck, Stan Lee, like my hero, you know? And he sat there and people were bringing him Darkwing Duck, Batman, Archie, like all the things he didn't work on. Hey, Marvel fans. And he just signed everything. And I'm like, I was like the guy managing the line that day. And I'm looking at his hair plugs and I go, you fucking, like, you didn't fucking invent Batman. You know? And at the end of the day, I built up enough confidence to, you know, as everyone left and we're packing up, I'm like, Stan, dude, you didn't invent Batman. Why the fuck you signed that guy's book? And he's like, did you see their faces? Did you see, like, they were so happy. Like, why would I get in the way of their happiness? And I'm like, holy shit, dude. It's like, yeah, don't correct people. And I thought about that, like everywhere I go in the world and there's like, ching chong, China, this, I remember being in Africa and these kids were just chasing us everywhere on ching chong. And our translator was a French Vietnamese guy. And he was like, Dave's Korean, I'm Vietnam. It's like, they don't give a shit, dude. They don't give a fuck. And I remember just the things I'm talking about is like watching Sean Parker shapeshift, watching my mom shapeshift, watching, act as if you belong. Act as if you have a seat at the table. It's like, oh, don't fucking, it's like, I know that's part of being an artist is being like shy, nerdy, self-conscious. It's like, just pretend like you're the best artist in the world. Like you just show up and you're like, this is the journey from their head to heart. I like when you talk because you make sense. But there's that, and that's why the smartest people in the world are the dumbest fucking idiots I've met because they try to apply logic to everything. And you're applying logic to spiritual problems. You're applying logic to emotional problems. And it's like, how's that working out for you? It's not. You're never going to outthink a feeling. You're never going to outsmart a feeling. Like, you're like, wait, these people are acting like, who would do that? Why would you do that? And I'm like, because it's not logical. It's an emotional thing. It's a mentally ill, whatever it is. It's not logic based. It's emotion based. It's mentally ill based. It's spiritual based. Like you can't fuck with people's religion or what they have faith in and all this stuff. So I'm watching. I remember going, Stefan correcting the black kids that he's Vietnamese is making them feel stupid and they're getting angrier. The kids that think I'm Bruce Lee and I just confirmed that I'm Bruce Lee are getting happy, right? It's like, people are dumb out there. That's fine. I don't care. I'm dumb. I'm stupid. It's like when someone corrects me, or it makes me feel shame and dumber. But then if no one corrects me, it's like, then it's my own shit to figure that out or not, right? So watching these people, like very successful people in my life, my mom, she's like unstoppable, right? Anything the world throws at her, she just goes, okay, I guess we're doing this now. Like she doesn't hang on. She's like, hang on tightly, let go lightly, right? It's just like, okay, we were real estate people. Now we're doing Herbalife. Oh, that happened. Mark Hughes died. Okay, now we're doing this. Like she just goes like that, like adapts to any situation. And like right now, I get a call a week from all artists, creative types that it's and we don't have to have an AI talk. I would rather not have an AI talk, but it's Armageddon, right? Everyone's like, I spent my life doing sound engineering and now it's gone. Just like the guy who would do the like hand letter this and then Photoshop, boom, your job's gone. The Carl Zeiss lens go on the iPhone and now photographer, like it's gone. Like you could sit there and start complaining or you could just keep adapting. And so I think true creativity you can't contain. If you're open and you're ready to get naked and you're ready to, people are like, oh, do you have to suffer to be a great artist? Absolutely, but you've already suffered enough. It's already done. Like whatever happened to you in your childhood, that's enough fuel for the rest of you. You don't have to continually, but I see myself and others at times, like I hopefully I'm better now, but I see people continually putting themselves in this situation to like suffer more and more and more. And I just remember the shame of my like, it's just these things, they're you know, decades ago, but they're still like, my dad just like throwing me across, like, we left another country so you could be a criminal, like, just, he was like, I'll just kill us all now. We were in the car leaving the police station. He's like, I'm going to crash the car. And I was like, I was in the back, like kind of disassociating, numb, crying, like feeling mixed emotions, going from like victim to sorry to like, well, fuck you then. And, you know, everything in between. And then just going, I accept now. Oops. I accept. Sorry, am I close enough to the microphone?
You're good.
Am I close to the microphone? Just going, I'm gonna choose to believe what my mom believes in me. I'm the greatest artist on the planet. I was in my 20s. I was like, fuck it. Like, going into galleries, looking at comic books, and can I tell you one quick fuck you Sean Parker story? So at the time I was doing Facebook, like, things were happening. Like, I had a Vice show selling my jail art, which gave me a little bit of cash. I was starting to work for Heidi Fleiss to do a erotic mural for her sex shop in Hollywood. And I had just gotten a job to do Jay-Z Linkin Park's mashup album cover. And it's like, I needed the money, and it was just like, I was like, it's starting to happen. Like, things are, you know, and this is while I was doing the Facebook thing. So they hadn't blown up yet, you know, and they gave me the job, and I'm like, the biggest rock band in the world and the biggest rapper in the world are doing an album together, and they want me, little old me, to do I felt so honored. I mean, they fucking butchered the art. I gave them the art, and they just made it look shitty. They put a shitty font on it. They did fake graffiti spray. I was like, what the fuck did you, whatever. Anyways, that's a whole other thing. But, you know, I'm like, cool. Like, what's that gonna pay? Like, you know, like, and they're like, $2,000. And I'm like, wait, you know, it's like this, one day I'm gonna make it, and my name's gonna be in lights, and I knew other artists. So like, Mir did the Limp Bizkit cover, Shepard Fairey did. So I knew them well enough where I was like, hey guys, am I getting fucked right now? And they're like, no, that's typical. I go, that's what they pay artists for? I mean, because back in the day when I was doing art, paintings, whatever, galleries, or illustrations, that was the range, 200 to like 2,000 at the most if you're doing like a cover or something. But I'm like, an album cover and they're like, no, that's what they pay. And I was like, damn, dude, I thought this is big time, you know? And so I negotiated for that. At the same time, I'm working at Facebook, and I drew this crazy cover, and they're like, yeah, that's for the rights for the album cover, right? So then, I don't know, the album comes out, and then they use the art everywhere. They use it on billboards. My friends reading comic books, and it's like, oh, they did a full page ad. And I go, like, for illustration, that's a separate fee, right? It's like, here's the rights to use on the album cover, here's for advertising, right? And so I'm talking to, I don't know anything, right? I'm a fucking horrible street artist. I call myself a street artist. Delete that from the microphone. Sorry. So I'm, you know, and you could like bleep the names or whatever, because I clearly remember. So I call Warner Brothers, and I go, hey, can I talk to whoever's in legal or whatever? And I go, yeah, I talked to my friends who are also artists that are more successful, and they said there's a separate fee I should be getting for billboards, you know, bus bench usage, magazine editorial, you know, magazines used to be big, you know, Tower Records, Virgin Records.
Sure.
And I remember the arrogance on this guy, Chip. He was like their head legal. He doesn't work there anymore. And he's like, and I remember the way he talked to me felt like my child, like, just made me feel, he's like, you're some shitty graffiti, like, who the fuck are you? You know, like, why am I wasting my time talking to you? And I go, well, and he started like just hitting me with legalese. And I go, hey, I'm raising my hand right now. You can't say, I'm raising my hand saying, I don't understand what you're saying. Can you please talk to me, and like, can you dumb down? Like, you're like trying to beat me up with words right now. I'm just saying, you know, it should be an additional $10,000, $15,000 for what you guys did. I'll be happy with another 5, or, you know, just like trying to talk. And he's like, I don't know who the fuck you think you are. And it was like very condescending. And I remember the arrogance of, I was like, I could be recording this call, or, you know, but he was just, and I was like, for a guy named Chip, that's such a weird, you know, you could come at us with lawyers. You could, it's like, and you may be even right, but guess what? You're fucking with Warner. Like, you'll never win. Like, you'll never get another dime out of us. I was like, holy fuck, what a fucking, and like I said, like, if you're going to be, like, people are like, oh, I love painting, then just paint. Like, oh, I want to be, it's like, you know how fucking hard it is to make money as a creator? It's like, you got to fight, you got to get a thick skin, and you better be ready to, like, I had to threaten Nike with blowing up their entire parking lot before they paid me. I was like, you asked me for these drawings, I did them, I delivered them on time, and you're giving me the checks in the mail. And I called like Wyden and Kent, you know, whatever, in Oregon, and I was like, I live in LA. It's gonna take me this many hours to drive, and I don't know which car's yours, I'm gonna blow up every car. Check was in the mail the next day. I'm like, why did I have to do that? Why did I have to turn into my mom to get the, but most artists go, oh, and then they just get fucked over, right? So that's part of being an artist, is getting fucked over, not getting paid what you deserve, blah, blah, blah. So I'm like obviously sensitive and painting like in a bad mood. And Sean's like, what, dude, what's up, Dave? Why you? And I told him what I just told you. And he's like, you know, and Facebook has like big money behind it now. It's growing. He's like, oh, we got a multi-million-dollar deal with Warner Brothers tomorrow in the meeting. And I was like, he goes, check this out. So he has the meeting with Warner Brothers, and they're like full, like, you know, everyone's at the long table, and they're like, oh, we want to advertise with Facebook, and da-da-da, and this is the new world, and da-da-da. And they're like, okay, cool. And it's like, you know, it's like millions of dollars or whatever, hundreds of thousands of dollars. And he's like, yeah, but that guy Chip fucked with my friend Dave Choe, so we're not doing shit with you guys. And I was like, this guy's my dog forever. Like what, how, like just does not, no fucks given, right? I was like, I cried, I gave him a hug. I was like, don't fuck with me. Don't fuck with me. Like, it felt so good. It felt so fucking good. I was like, and then I found out he got fired and all that shit. It's like, I was like, yes, sometimes the little guy wins, you know? Like, it felt so good.
I'd like to take a quick break and acknowledge one of our sponsors, Function. Last year, I became a Function member after searching for the most comprehensive approach to lab testing. Function provides over 100 advanced lab tests that give you a key snapshot of your entire bodily health. This snapshot offers you with insights on your heart health, hormone health, immune functioning, nutrient levels, and much more. They've also recently added tests for toxins such as BPA exposure from harmful plastics and tests for PFASs or forever chemicals. Function not only provides testing of over 100 biomarkers key to your physical and mental health, but it also analyzes these results and provides insights from top doctors who are expert in the relevant areas. For example, in one of my first tests with Function, I learned that I had elevated levels of mercury in my blood. Function not only helped me detect that, but offered insights into how best to reduce my mercury levels, which included limiting my tuna consumption. I've been eating a lot of tuna, while also making an effort to eat more leafy greens and supplementing with NAC and acetylcysteine, both of which can support glutathione production and detoxification. And I should say, by taking a second Function test, that approach worked. Comprehensive blood testing is vitally important. There's so many things related to your mental and physical health that can only be detected in a blood test. The problem is blood testing has always been very expensive and complicated. In contrast, I've been super impressed by Function's simplicity and at the level of cost. It is very affordable. As a consequence, I decided to join their scientific advisory board, and I'm thrilled that they're sponsoring the podcast. If you'd like to try Function, you can go to functionhealth.com/Huberman. Function currently has a wait list of over 250,000 people, but they're offering early access to Huberman podcast listeners. Again, that's functionhealth.com/Huberman to get early access to Function.
So I got all the typical shame and all that. And to be fair, if you're my dad and you fucking escaped a war and famine to raise your family in America, and you see your kid stealing paint at Home Depot to graffiti dicks on walls, like you're not gonna. So I give him that, you know. But I felt I didn't know where I belonged. You know, I couldn't process. Maybe I have dyslexia. I was in school and I couldn't. None of the information. I was like, this is so hard. Like people. Like I would try really hard to get a C, right? Where other people were like, oh, okay, you know, X. I was like, why is there an X in math? And they were like, Dave, and they dumb it down and dumb it down. I'm like, I'm retarded. I think I need to go to that class. Like I felt because both my brothers have like really high IQs, and I'm like, I'm stupid. Like so I felt really small in that area. And I made up the story like I suck at sports. I go, so this is it. This is all I'll ever be good at. So and now I'm gonna fully buy in to what my mom's saying, and because I grew up with the Asian work ethic, like I'm like, it's not I am good. It wasn't like I am gonna be the best. I was like, I just adopted I am the best artist in the world, and to that power of thought, like I sat down. And I'd go to I studied everything. I studied comic book art, cereal boxes, museums, fine art. Why does this? I just got into the business side of art, the creativity, fucking loose watercolors, like tiny detailed pen draw, like everything. And I was like, I'm like, I'm gonna be good at all of it. Oil painting, like there. So people go, what kind of artist? I'm like, I'm an artist. Everything. When I talk, when I make music, like I am going from I'm a piece of shit, I suck, to like not healthy, but it's like I am art god, like. And so I was like in my 20s, just like like waking up, and then like that's not how I naturally woke up. I woke up like, oh fuck, and I'd wake up and I'd have to put that on, like, you're the greatest, like hypnotizing myself. You're the best. You're the fucking best. You're the greatest.
Were you doing any like reading books? Because at the time when you and I are basically the same age.
Yeah.
Back then, wasn't a lot about like neuroscience and this and that and like actualization. It was all kind of, hidden away. But there was there was like the Tony Robbins type stuff, and there was this idea and infomercials and stuff that that you could program your mind. Sounded like you just basically took all that on without any of that.
Yeah, I didn't read any of that stuff. I stole lots of books, and I would read a lot of pornography. I guess this kind of I could fit my Pee Wee Herman story if we're talking about publishing. It's hard to talk about this because kids ask me all the time, like, how'd you make it in art? And like nothing I did applies to today. It's like I went to Kinko's. I would have to spend my money or figure out how to do that copy thing, that trick to make more copy, because color copies were 99 cents. It's like, who has? So I'd have to pick which one of my paintings were the best, make these like mini color copy packets. So that's $10. And then I would go to the newsstand and write the address, like Rolling Stone, like all the magazines that had prestige, and like C.F. Payne, Kent Williams, Baron Story, like all these amazing illustrators that would work for Time Magazine, Rolling Stone, Playboy, like they would all use. So I would open the front page where it had the heading of art direct, and I would write it down, and the newsstand guy's like, I sound like a boomer right now. Like, it's like, who the fuck, like there's kids listening right now. This magazine, what's that, But that's what I had to do. And I would be like, which magazine do I want to send this $10 packet that and then I have to mail it to, and hopefully like they get that letter and not some other department, And then you just rejection letter after, like, sorry. And so I'm sitting down, and I'm ingesting all this, and I have the fire, and I'm like sitting down, and I go, that, like, why is that drawing successful? Why do, and of course there's tons of insider trading and corruption in the art world, but I didn't know that at the time, right? It's like, oh, that guy's dad owns fucking water, like that guy, So I would just sit there, and I would be like, that guy drew this much. I'm going to draw 10, like, that guy did this, and I'm gonna draw, and I just, some of my paintings, all my paintings back then had like at least 7 layers, if not more, just layering and dense. And it was me. It's like a musician that's like, I have to, like, I saw a thing with Rick Rubin and Flea doing Give It Away Now. And he was just like, he can do, but he was like, just do, like, just play less. And back then it wasn't. It was like, I need to show everyone what I'm capable of, which is, I can draw better than you. I can paint. I have to show you that. Now I don't care. But back then it was, and it isn't that. Art is it's not who can put the most lines down, or, And so I'm trying to like, and it was just, everyone has their own path. But I remember year 2000, I'm doing graffiti. I'm getting some gigs to do murals. You know, it's just slowly starting. And someone contacted me at Marvel Comics. And I was like, man, I didn't even try. And like, this is it. This is my dream. And then we want you to draw the X-Men, but like a cool X-Men. I'm like, fuck, I didn't even have to go to portfolio day. I didn't have to, you know. And I go, oh, I knew if I just kept putting my shit out there, you know, but I'm what, 23 at the time, you know. And I start drawing it, and I guess they fired me, or they didn't fire me. They just decided to use a different artist, but they never told me. So I'm still drawing it. And I'm a passive aggressive, angry kid already. And I didn't email. Some people had emails, but a lot of artists hadn't. This is the beginning of the internet. Like, people weren't using it the way they do now. And I remember it was like the first message board where my friends were like, hey, Dave, you got fired off the X-Men book? And I go, what? How did you know? And they go, you don't use the internet? And I go, what is that? And they showed us, and I felt shame again. I was like, oh my God, like, I was so excited to, like, there's little things in my head. Like, if I do a comic book, that means I made it. And I wrote the most scathing, homophobic, racist, like, just, I was mad. I thought it was funny. I was 23 at the time. And it was like 10 pages long. But I didn't know the editor of Marvel. It's probably not even him. It was just, and I didn't know how to get it to him. So I just went to Marvel's website and I just sent it to every single person that works at Marvel, like copy, paste. And the next day was my first experience in the year, you know, Y2K, 1999, 2000 of going viral. They're like, every artist I look up to, every writer I look up to in comics was like, we don't know who the fuck this kid is, but he just committed career suicide. And then once again, shame. And so, like, if I go back to all my shame stories, I go, what's the through line? And we should have made the secret word shame, but I'm a shame chaser. Like, I get high off shame. Like, what's my drug? Oh, workaholism. It's like my drug that I've chased my whole life is shame and anger. Like, fucking powerful drug, you know? And so I couldn't believe it. I was like, I'm never gonna get to draw the Hulk, Spider-Man, Wolverine, and I have at this point, and I went through the back door, which I always do. It's true vandal. But I just remember going, holy fuck, this is the worst day of my life. Like, people that I look up to, there was like a whole thing of like, I don't know who this Dave Choe, I've never heard of him, but he's a horrible human being. Listen, you know, and I was like, but there was context. Like you should have heard how I heard it in my head. Like, I was, you know, and they're like, oh, it looks different. And I was like, holy fuck. And that was my first experience of just feeling like me following a pattern of trying to replicate hatred towards me. Like if it's, but not knowing it. I'm just like, oh, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. And like, some ignorance, some playing dumb, some like repeating patterns like a monkey without knowing. And so I had a friend in comics at the time because I was just like, I was just making art. I was going out doing graffiti every fucking night, just doing that OCD, playing music in my head and just tagging up everything. Like the kind of graffiti you're not supposed to do. People's cars, houses. Like, I wanted someone to kill me. Like, I didn't care. Like, I wanted someone to be like, dude, I worked hard for that car and you just ruined it. And in my head, I'm like, but I'm a famous artist, which I wasn't. I'm 23. And they're like, I just made your car more valuable. That's how I'm thinking, but I was out of my mind.
You probably did make their car more valuable in retrospect. Can I ask you a question about the shame?
Absolutely.
I have a friend. He's a addiction trauma counselor guy, amazing guy. He's been on this podcast. His name is Ryan Suave. He has a gift for helping people understand trauma and addiction and this kind of thing. We haven't talked a lot about addiction yet today, but you said you got addicted to the shame. And do you think, I mean, who knows? Here I'm using my intellectual brain, but do you think that that these oscillations of like your mindset, like I'm a great artist, I'm the greatest artist, sets it up so the shame is that much deeper? Like it's like loading a spring? Or because he told me once, Ryan once told me, he's worked with heroin addicts, drug addicts of all kinds, sex addiction, everything. And he just said, he goes, gambling addiction is the worst because the next time really could change it all. And he said, but there's something really interesting and that happens to gambling addicts. He goes, eventually they get tired of winning and they get addicted to losing.
Happens really quick. So I have my own feelings about this subject. I'm a severe gambling addict. Like, I told you I'm going to time jump, so I'm at the I'm at that point, but I'll jump to current, which is a very shameful thing for me to admit or talk about. But I'm here, so I'll just go there. Shame is so powerful because at this point, I've been to all the 12-step meetings. I've been to Debtors Anonymous, Business Owners, Debtors Anonymous, Overeaters Anonymous, Workaholics, and sex and love addicts, sex addicts, gambling, like every single. And so, what's the through line? Every single one is gambling. Every single addiction is gambling addiction. If you drink and drive, you're gambling. Your life could be over, and if you overeat and you're diabetic. It's just every fucking addiction is, addiction is one of those things you can't apply logic to. And your scientist friend nailed it. It's, as I explore my feelings, because the people go, what are you running from, Dave? And it's like, well, I'm fucking running from myself, dude. I don't want to look in the mirror. I don't want to see myself. I hate myself. So I'm just running. So as long as I'm like doing graffiti, running from the police, just hopping on a train, like literal running, like literally running to make sure I'm never sit still for 1 second. Like, what are you doing, Dave? I'm playing drums in a band. I'm fucking, at a casino. I'm traveling, doing the news for Vice. I'm painting at this. Like, I can't sit still because that means I have to sit with myself, and I can't do that. I can't do that. I couldn't do that. I couldn't do that. I can now. So, you know what feels good? Winning a lot of money. Not working for it and sitting down at a casino and them knowing who you are and upping the limits and you literally making enough money off baccarat or blackjack, what people don't make in a lifetime. That's an insane feeling. How many shits do you think I took today before I came here? Rob, how many? Two. One big one and one little one. Like, scientists don't know what causes IBS. I do. It's stress. When I was gambling, when I was at the height of any of my addictions, 7 shits a day at least. Just like, okay, like just like, and you would never see it on my face, or maybe you would, but I felt like I could gamble with a fortune in front of me and lose it and win it and like nothing. Like I was, disassociated, dead inside, whatever you want to say. I didn't feel anymore, right? Like the highs were so high. I had already been chased by the cops. I'd already been beaten the shit out of. I've already been molested before. Whatever you could do to me, you've already done to me, and I'm still here. What can you do to me that I'm my worst enemy. Like I beat myself up, right? When the gambling stopped, when I got into recovery, I take 1 shit a day now. When this fucking asshole asked me to do the podcast, I start stressing. I've taken, when was that, like a few weeks ago? Oh shit, dude, I just took 3 shit. It started again. Because I don't have stress in my life anymore. Or like I have whatever, normal family stress, but I don't have, oh, you're going to say something on some guy's show and then your life's going to be ruined again. I've done that so many times. It's like, so I'm like, fuck, I just woke up. I just already took a shit. Why do I gotta take another one? I'm like, oh, the IBS is coming back because there's a part of me that's like, I hope I say something horrible today because then I could feel that again. And so what people, when they're listening to this, and I don't know if I'm when I talk, sometimes I make sense to myself and sometimes I don't, but if you're an addict, it will make sense to you. If like everyone listening to this is either an addict or someone in their life is, like their family member or their friend. But at this point, with social media and their phones, everyone's an addict, right? You can't stop. It's just impossible. You will never find anything more addictive than a phone, right? So in the time that, like, I haven't been in an actual casino in 10 years. I've banned from all these casinos. The whole world became a casino. You can't go anywhere without gambling now. Fucking lottery. You can go on your phone. You could bet on anything, right? So at first in every addiction, you want to win. Oh, fuck that. I can relate to drugs and alcohol, even though I don't do that. But like, that must feel good to like get a little drunk and then be the funniest guy at the party. So eating the most delicious foods that I ever ate that I never thought I would eat in my life. And then, okay, that's good. Your body feels good. Why do you need to eat until you're puking and you become like binging and purging? Like what? Because what you don't understand, because you're applying logic to it, is I want to fucking hurt. I want like winning $1 million feels fucking great. Losing $10 million feels even better. Well, that doesn't make any sense. Like getting married feels awesome. I mean, I'm just making shit up, but like put like greatest day of my life, right? Like greatest day of my life. And I could get dark. I'll try not to use dark examples, but when something awesome, marriage, having a child, winning a lot of money, doing drugs and having one of the best days of your life, like just when it's on the good side, it feels, that's why you do it. Heroin fucking feels good. I've never done it, but the description of it is like, that sounds awesome. Why would you not do it again? But then when you're fucking scratching your skin and sucking dick for fucking crack, like that's another high where you're at the bottom. And that's a repetition of the pattern of whatever your childhood was. And so I don't fucking know Andrew besides his online persona, right? Like this is our first time meeting in person. It's like, this is not me being a know-it-all. Like humans are not that difficult to understand. We're very simple. Like I called him immature a little bit before, not to be insulting. It's just like, part of me is like, this is me being a hater. Like I love everybody, but I'm just like, what fucking adult gets tattoos? Like what kind of fucking adult gets, and I know you got fucking tattoos. And I'm like, who fucking just like throws their shit away to become a skater? And then like, are you okay with me asking you questions? Like,
Sure.
Were you sexually abused? Were you?
No, I had friends that were, I lucked out. I had one guy come at me that, I worked at a skateboard shop in Palo Alto. Maybe you saw it, Palo Alto Toy and Sport. It was like down on Waverly Street. Guy that worked there did that. I responded differently. I flipped the desk over on him. I made him apologize to me in front of everybody. And my biggest fear at that point was my mom, even though we had our tensions, my mom's from New Jersey.
Yeah.
She's old school. She knew something happened. And my fear was that if I told her that she would actually kill him.
Oh.
Like actually kill him. Like, and because despite, whatever challenges she and I have had over the year, she, like that maternal aggression, that protectiveness, she would have killed him. So I remember being like not worried about me, worried that she was going to kill him, and then, but no, I lucked out there.
I perceive you as a brilliant man. And this is me gathering data and facts in my life. I don't know what but very smart. I know geniuses, geniuses. The smarter the person, the more intellectual they are, the more on the spectrum they are, the greater the trauma they experience. Because whether that was always in them and the trauma unlocked it, or you learned that as mental jujitsu to, like, these people I know in my life that are just brilliant, like they can comprehend things that most people can't, they could create. Their childhood was so fucking unsafe, abandonment, and usually, that's why I asked you about it's usually sexual trauma, because carries the most shame, that they're like, oh, I was small, I couldn't defend myself, that unless I become like a jujitsu master or fighter, how can I protect myself? And it's with this. So then something gets unlocked here and they become the smartest person in the room, and they can just destroy you verbally. They can destroy you in a courtroom. They can just, and so, yeah, to answer you become a shame chaser. You get high off shame. And it's like, that's even shameful to admit out loud. And so, like, I could sit here and, like, if I'm being present with current, with up to date, like, I have a great life. Like, I'm telling you a lot of stories from the past, feelings that I felt in the past. And I have, I tell on myself all the time. when old patterns come up, I have a therapist, I got a men's group, I got friends who love me. I raise my hand, I go, I need help, which I never did before. I grew up with shut the fuck up and figure it out. That's my whole childhood was a question mark. Where are we going? What are we doing? Nothing was explained to me. And so there was a lot of a lot of abandonment. It's just like, and so everything, and that's probably why I'm really curious and ask a lot of questions, because I didn't know what was happening. And my parents were just like working all the time. They're like, I don't know, stay at this house or this. And I was just like, who are these people? Like, what's happening? Why is this guy baptizing me for the 10th? Like, why am I getting on a plane? It's just like, it was just like, just shut up. Just go along to get along. And so part of my story is, if I'm a nice boy, if I'm a nice Asian boy and I do, then the world shits on me. Then everything horrible. The second I fucking speak up, scream, get the fuck out, like just do graffiti, break the law, then I get to do the Linkin Park album cover. Then I get Sean Parker. It's like, and I talk to all the jackass guys about this. It's like, you're rewarded for bad behavior. You get to be the president. You get to, like, the more I act, and it's so, in one way, okay, that's for career, right? But like, what about, it just runs hell on your personal life. And that's why when I'm in my addiction and I'm chasing shame, I drag everyone who loves me down with them. So I go, I need to, and I don't need my wife or anyone to be my mom. Like, I'm like, I'll handle it. That's how I grow myself up. And it doesn't need to be like I said, brilliance is found in Milpitas and Palo Alto and Gilroy. Brilliance is found in the mundane, sitting in the waiting room. Brilliance is found in these like quiet moments. And so it's like, I don't need to go to rehab and have like this fucking movie role kind of, it's just like, it's a phone call. It's like, let me do this. And so the feelings, the chemistry, that it's like when you lose all the money you've ever made in your life in a coin flip, and you're just sitting there like,
no worries.
Hopefully I didn't get anything on the microphone.
Ah! What's that line from that 80s movie? It's not a party till something's broken. I always like that line because it excuses it immediately. Yeah. Some breaks, folks, you just say,
yeah, in this
it's not
case,
a party till something's broken.
In this case, it was my soul, So I was very reckless with my heart. I treated myself very poorly. I didn't care what happened to me. And so as I jumped from addiction to addiction, it's like, well, which is the one I can hide in plain sight? The one that you're in right now, workaholism. As long as you work all the time, as long as you're providing people, like as long as you're helping people and being of service, then that's good, right? But what is being neglected in that? This, like, I mean, I don't tell this to everyone, but like someone in your situation that, you have life changes coming up, and I already know your answer, but I would ask, why not take 1 year off? Like, why? And it's like, well, I got my this, and I'm an important Stanford guy, and I was like, yeah, but that will you only got one life, and there's something about it that feels like when I'm in my workaholism, like that's the one where I get in this society a pat on the back. Good job, Dave. And the Sean Parker story with the Warner Brothers, that was a win. I was like, fuck yeah, but it was so much. Can I tell my Pee Wee Herman story? There's some shame in that. I'll bring it around. I just don't, part of my character defects is entitlement and impatience. Like once I accepted what my mom is saying true, I am the greatest artist in the world, according to Jane Choe. And now I'm going to start, not at first, but like, I'll start to believe that too. Cause it's so scary doing graffiti, not in a crew, not in a gang, to just go out. And it's like, it's something so comforting to draw in a tiny sketchbook and no one's going to see it. Right? You fuck up, whatever. But to draw something big on a wall and everyone going down the 101 freeways, like thousands of people will see it before 8 o'clock. Like, that sucks. That guy has no can control. That guy, and you're just like, you're naked. You're like, this is what's inside me. And I did it 40 feet long and here it is. And they're like, it sucks. Shame. I'm chasing shame. Like, it's like, what would it feel like if everyone's like, dude, that's the fucking masterpiece? Not as cool. Not as cool. So I'm doing the thing. I'm sending my art out. And La Brea used to have a lot of galleries. And in my head, I thought my art was better than every artist that was in those. I would be like, and I'd go down the street and I'm like, oh, they show that. I would keep a record of what kind of art they show. Then I'd skate back to my house and paint like that style, but better, in my mind, better. And then I'd make a new portfolio and I'd go down like, and they're like, who the fuck, like it's like like, you have to be shown first before they'll even take. And I go, but, you know, so it's just anger, more frustration, coming out sideways, coming out doing more graffiti, shoplifting, food to like, you know. So then I finally get to La Brea and Melrose, where there was a ice cream shop called Double Rainbow, and there's this wonderful lady named Candace there. And I was saying how I'm talking now, like out loud, and my art's just right here. And she's like, let me see. And I show it to her, and she's like, this is amazing. I go, I fucking know, dude, I'm the best. And she's like, all right, shut the fuck out, all right? She's like, put it up on the wall. And then my ego goes, in a fucking ice cream shop? And I go, well, I guess no one else is offering that. Okay, so it was like, not this. It wasn't like minimalist. It was floor to ceiling, hundreds of paintings, some that I spent months on. Like, this was singular, just, I'm the best and I need to show you. It wasn't like tasteful, like here's one painting and let that breathe. And it was just like, here's, you know? And people are coming in there buying like mint chocolate chip, going, oh, that's pretty cool, you know? And so every day I would get a call, love your art, want to buy it. I'm like, fuck yeah, here we go. Like $2. I'm like, you know how long I spent on that art? And, you know, and I just was like, $50? So, you know, I'm 23. This is like early 2000s. I'm like, that's less than the art supplies that I stole, to be fair. But still, I'm like, can you cover the cost of materials? And they're like, yeah, it's good, but, you know, can you just like haggling like 5, 10? I'm like, that's what a fucking print or sticker costs. Like, this is an original painting, you know? And I remember I got a call one day, and it's these things that the stories that I keep editing in my mind to make me the hero, you know? And the guy's like, I'll trade you a car for like that giant painting, the one that I spent months on. And of course it's like 1972 Plymouth Fury, no brakes, like cracked wind, you know, just a complete fucking beater, like piece of shit. But then the story in my head that I go around telling, you know, part of my PR marketing is like, I traded my art for a car for an, you know, oh yeah? And like, you don't need to know the details of the car, you know? And the guy in the, you know, recycler was trying to sell it for like $200-300, you know? He's like, just get this shit off my lawn, you know? And I remember this is how I drove it. I would drive it and there was no brakes. So there was like fuel and I had to pump it like a block before, and then I would always hit the car like ding, like that's what, and the guy would say, hey, what the fuck? And I'd be like, sorry. And I had no money to fix it, but I was just in my head, I did it. I did it. You know, like small victories, little victories. And then my friend's like I knew all like the indie zine, like make your own fucking punk rock, like, and I would just get rejection letter after, just the continuation of, you're not enough, your art's not that good, you suck. Just, and then maybe they wouldn't say that, but that's how I took you know, not at this time, not for us. Rejection letter from Playboy, from Rolling Stone, and I just remember one of my friends, he just always had like nice sketchbooks, and I go, where are you getting that money? Like, you're a full-time artist? And he was like a dirty punk rock guy, and he's like, you know, the skin rags pay just as much. It's like they have none of the prestige, and like, you know, I went to the Tower Records warehouse once where they distributed a calendar I made, and it's like, here's like this whole table is the warehouse. This is like, you know, Sports Illustrated, Rolling Stone, this, and all of this is porn, right? So, you know, you don't want to brag about that, but that's just, they're like, they pay literally the same amount as Rolling Stone, but it's not Rolling Stone. So I go, okay, I guess I'm doing that. So then I go to the part of the magazine stand where, you know, there's a curtain, and I go back and I start, you know, Butthole Fever, just start writing down the art director's name. And that was the thing, is like, I cared so much about it. It was important to me. It saved me. Art saved me. So it didn't matter if I was doing a logo for Nike or Toyota, or like, I just was like, you're still looking at me, even though if I'm doing a corporate job, like I'm in there and I need you to see me. And I'm even though if I hate the job and you're not even paying me, I'm still going to do my best no matter what. Like I have pride in my work, and I get that from my parents also. And I love that. I'll go to restaurants where I don't even like the food because I know the waiter is like running to bring me water and he cares. Like anytime, that's the secret ingredient to anything. Anytime I feel like the person cares, it's such a warm feeling, And I cared. I care, and I still do. I care a lot. Like I sit here going, I don't give a fuck. I do. I care maybe too much. So I write the number for, I try the legit ones first, Penthouse and Playboy, and they're like, nope. I'm like, I guess I go to a Hustler and Buttman and, Asian Fever, and I get a call from Buttman, they're like, these butthole paintings you did, they're so good. And I'm like, I worked really hard on it. It's not like what I want to be doing, but, and they're like, can you come in? And it's just true to their title. That's all it is. It's just all anal. There's no stories about anal. There's page after page. And they go, can you do like this, but like every week? I'm like, what do you need? They're like, Superman fucking Lois Lane, anal. Spider-Man midgets, like whatever, like just all anal. And I go, I can do that. I would love to do that. And like, we pay, a couple $100. I was like, and I took it serious. It wasn't like it was like, this is my, and a lot of actually famous artists would do that, but under fake names, and they didn't want to be associated their real art with that. I was like, so I did all this art for Buttman. Once again, if you want to cut out any names, I remember everyone's name. It was art director was Heidi. She was so sweet. She's like, it's just like, I was only used to my mom saying she likes my art. So anytime someone not in my family said they liked it, it was, oh, it's not just my mom. Like other people like it, But there's also this massive narcissist, like, I'm the best. And I'm like, no, I'm not that good, But like, it's like both, And I don't know why this always kept happening, but all these places I always worked at, they would always go, you got such funny stories. Like, do you got any, and I was like, I think I had been with one girl. They're like, you have any like butthole stories? And I had been trained by, black belt in lying, my mom, she's like, yeah, of course. Like, it was so easy for me. They're like, oh, because these depictions of anal sex they're so graphic and fantastic. And every time you come in, you have some weird story. Like, do you know any women in your life that have experiences like this? And I go, oh yeah, like super racist against Asians. I go, oh yeah, like Susie Suzuki, like just making up fake names. And they're like, someone named Susie Suzuki? I go, oh yeah. She goes, do you think she would write about her experiences? And I'm like, how dumb is this lady? Like, I don't fucking know anyone named Susie. Like, what the fuck? And she goes, it's $40 a story. And I'm like, cool. Like, they're paying me $150, $200 for this. So I'd go home and I would just write the most ridiculous, hi, I don't speak English. This is the voice I hear in my head. I come to America, need a job. And just writing like every like ridiculous male fantasy, like, and then he put in the wrong hole. And pornography. I became a pornographer. Like, it's not like the proudest moment of my life, but I'm like, oh God, if God's looking down on me, probably, but once again, shame. I'm cool with it. I've made myself at home. Like most people, they change their name, but I was like, this is what I do. I'm a fucking, So here we go again. My fucking poor parents, So I'm living at home, right? So I can't hide. I could have done a better job hiding the graffiti. I didn't. They see the spray paint. They see the fucking paint on all my clothes.
Was it good? Were you happy with the graffiti?
No, I hated it.
Okay.
I just, I have so much respect for that. Like it's everything. It's physicality. You're climbing. You're a ninja. It's like fucking Navy SEAL. Like it's crazy. Like you need to do a detail of a nose while you're balancing on barbed wire. I mean, it's
Yeah, those kids are crazy.
It's insane. I'm like, fuck, dude. These people, if they had a little bit of guidance, they could have been like Navy SEALs, Green Berets, whatever. So my dad, of course, once again, like, and then I sit here now as I tell the story and it's coming. Why didn't I hide it better? Oh, like maybe I wanted to get caught, you know? My dad fucking throws, he's like, Sexa, just like, once again, it's like this, like, think about my dad. It's like his friends are like going, his friends' kids are like getting the highest SAT scores. They're getting accepted into Stanford. And they're like, my son has hair covering his eyes. And I think I was starting to get into like shitty 80s, like Warrant and Winger and Cherry Pie, like that kind of, like, I listen to everything. And I just shame. I like literally like not feeling it, but like having another human, your father tell you, I'm so embarrassed of my son. I'm so embarrassed, like anger tears, like just breaking, like why did I come to this country? Why did just like, and it's like now I could feel more when I tell it, but like before I just I just pretended like it was happening to someone else. I just disassociated. I'm like, whatever, bro. Like, but it wasn't whatever. It was like my dad disappointed in me. My mom disappointed in me. And I'm like, fuck, man, it's not really working out for me. Like just rejection after rejection. And I remember the shipping, like it was in the Larry Flint building, Wilshire and La Cienega. And I was like, fuck, I live like I could skate there. Like I'd rather, and I was scared to like send, so this is what happened. So I got busted. The lady, I don't know if she was a lesbian or something. She's like, I need to meet Susie Suzuki. It wasn't Suzuki. It was a name like that. It was like Trisha Toyota or something. And I go, Heidi, are you serious right now? It's like I wrote that story. That story's ridiculous. Like in my head, I'm like, it's so obvious a guy wrote that, And she's like, hey, we might be Buttman magazine, but we print the truth. And I was like, what the fuck? You telling me the Penthouse letters are like, shut the fuck up. And she's like, took all my art, threw it at me. It's like, you will never be published in Buttman anymore. Like you're done here. And I was like, I spent a long time on those paintings. Like all the folds of the butthole. And I really tried hard. Like, it's like rejection. Like I had gotten so used to my parents being disappointed in me. Gallery art, like it was like cool. All right. Didn't feel, I mean, I'm sure it didn't feel good, but I had figured out a way to internalize it and just, all right. And then do my mom's delusional thing. But I'm still the best. Even though the world's telling me like, you're a loser. And I go, okay, who's the art director at Hustler? W.T. Nelson. Okay, so I call them and I go, hey, I live, I can skate there, take me like an hour to get there, but I have these paintings and I don't want to send them in the mail. I never sent paintings in the mail before, and I'd rather save on the shipping. And he's like, I don't know you, dude, and I don't really, but I had already sent the color copies and the pages that they had printed in Buttman, and he's like, but all right, I guess you could come. And I'm like, yes, I'm gonna go to the Larry Flint building. This is gonna be so cool, And I go there and he's just like, yeah, if you just tweak all these paintings you already did, we'll use those in Asian Fever. We'll use these in, like different, there was Hustler had like 20 different other magazines. And he's like, yeah, like that story is awesome. We'll print that story. And I was like, okay, cool. So I'm like, am I a writer? Part of me was like, I'm a writer. I'm a published writer.
Technically, you're a professional writer at this point.
And at the time, I was also writing for Vice. I was writing for Giant Robot, also not getting paid. Like, this was the first time I got paid, so it felt like,
Did Buttman pay you?
No, they didn't. Because we had that fight, and they never sent the,
Apparently, they, quote, only print the truth, but they also don't pay their bills. So, the truth only goes so far for them.
So it was me. It was like, I can see a lot of my mom in that now, of how the reality is I'm not successful. I'm a pornographer, but in my head, I'm like, I'm published. I'm a real artist. Like, and I'm a writer. I'm a scholar, like and then I remember W.T. Nelson paid me, and then it wasn't that much money, and now it's just like that awkward, like, yeah, we usually don't have the artists come to it's all like through mail, and I don't know, you want some porn?
This was before Facebook.
Yes.
Okay. Because the reason I ask is, and I don't want to take you off track, because I was wondering when Facebook eventually paid out, when the equity popped, basically.
I'll get to all of it, and I'm gonna time jump, but like it's just
yeah, sure.
I want to stay in the feeling.
Please.
I'm trying to, because these are all stories I've told before, but like I've never told them from like an emotional perspective.
Please.
It's always just been like almost bragging. Like, and I go like I'm trying to, for the first time, like sit in it, and because I want to focus a little bit on the shame part, and part of being an artist is just constant rejection. It's like asking a girl out like over and over again. It's like, you're fat, you're ugly, no thanks, you're not, it's like, and for art, art is different, like what you think is cool, I might think it's cheesy. And it's like, now I can see that, but before I was like, you're in the presence of greatness and you're saying no to me? Like, I'm like, okay, all right, I guess it's not good, So it's what I present and what I feel inside.
I'm excited to share that Mateina, the yerba mate drink I helped create, is now available at Whole Food stores nationwide. Longtime listeners of this podcast know that yerba mate is my preferred caffeine source. It provides smooth energy without giving you the jitters, and it has a lot of other potential benefits, including helping to regulate your blood sugar, improving digestion, mild appetite suppression, and much more. Mateina is my absolute favorite of all the yerba mate brands out there, and I've tried them all. Given my love for Mateina, I decided to become a part owner in the business, and I helped them create their new line of products, which are all entirely zero sugar. These zero sugar cold brew Mateina flavors are fantastic. I drink at least 3 cans of them every single day. You'll often see them on the table during my podcast recordings. I absolutely love the product, and I'm proud to now have it sold at Whole Foods. So check out Mateina at Whole Food stores nationwide. It's cold brewed with the absolute best ingredients. It has zero sugar, and it tastes amazing. And if you don't have a Whole Foods near you, you can also buy it online at drinkmateina.com.
So part of it is they just started sending me boxes, and porn was expensive. Now these spoiled kids today, it's, you could see anything, right? It's just free internet. But back in the day, if you wanted to buy a video cassette or a DVD or a magazine, those things were like $20. Like, it was expensive. And now I'm getting these care packages from Hustler, just shit that I'm not even into, like bodybuilder, chicks with, like just a lot of shit. And I'm like, it looked crazy at my apartment. Like, it was just, I'd finally moved out of the house. I was dating this girl, this crazy actress, and it was floored. Like, every room in the house had some kind of, it was like kind of my identity. They were like, Dave, and she was starting to get disgusted. She's like, who am I dating? And I've always, like, at the core of all my addictions is codependence. It's, I don't know what's happening. The world is scary. I don't feel safe, and I need to go along to get along. And I need to make myself small so that everyone around me feels okay, and at the cost of me. That's what I need. And so, oh, you like that kind of art? Then I'm a chameleon. I'll switch to that. Oh, you like Fugazi? Okay, I'll listen to Fugazi. And there's like, it's not black and white. Some of it's true, and some of it's like a mask. And I'm sitting there just really struggling, like stealing fish down my pants so I could eat dinner. Like, I'm not getting paid. Like, there's no money coming in. It's like, graffiti doesn't pay. Like, the pornography, like, getting paid in porn is cool, but it's not money, They're like, hey, you want, and I have a sickness. I have a sex addiction. So it's like, hey, do you want $200 or do you want $1,000 in porn, which is nothing to them. It's just, So I'm just having a hard time, and I get to my 72 Plymouth Fury, who, like, every time I get in, I could kill myself or something, And there's a note on the door, and it says, doing a period piece movie in Los Angeles. Your car, 1970, fits the time. Can we dress it up to make it look like an undercover, pays something ridiculous, like $1,000 a day or something. I'm like, fuck, like, hell, like, these small victories, Oh, fuck yeah. I show up the next day. It's on the street. Everything in the street, they made it look like 1970s. There's all these other 1972, and they put the sirens on the top. They took the license plate off. And the guy that's like dressing my car, one of the, the union guys looks in the back and he's like, yo, this guy has so much porn in the back of his car. And I was like, yes, and I go, what's this movie? And I see Johnny Depp come out of the house, and he's got blonde hair in a ponytail, and it's Blow, that movie Blow with Pee Wee Herman, right? But he wasn't in that scene. And I'm like, holy fuck, I love Johnny Depp. I'm like, oh fuck, that's Johnny Depp. And this guy's being really loud. He's like, this guy has a lot of porn, not just like, I'm like, oh yeah, I work for Hustler. No, you work for Hustler? So I remember that was the first time I saw like a celebrity on that level in real life. And I was like, oh, he's kind of short, but like he was like signing autographs and talking to everyone. I was like, this guy he seems very friendly, like he had that whatever charisma, riz, the kids say, and star quality. So then it's, craft service, lunch, I've never been on a movie set before. And I'm just like, I'm getting paid to do nothing. And I was like, between all the background guys, I was the man because I had so much porn, So I grabbed a sampling of it. I had some of the ones that I had drawings in, and I put some like bookmark, like I don't know. It's like maybe Johnny Depp's gonna see my butthole paintings and be like, hey, paint me, I don't know. That's my delusion, right? So I'm like, is he gonna eat in his own trailer, or is he gonna be down with the crew? And he was down with the crew. So it's like lunch. And it was just a scene like with, I think, Ray Liotta and like all this. And I'm just sitting there and I'm like, I want Johnny Depp to see, like, I want to, like, I don't know. And I'm like, who the fuck I'm like 23. I'm like, I do graffiti. Like I got a car that doesn't work for, it's like, but I was like, oh, it's going to happen. So he's sitting down with the crew. He's like telling stories, and I didn't have to do it. Another guy was like, hey, Johnny, this guy has all this porn in his car. He's like, oh, really? Like, I can't do a Johnny Depp impression. And I was like, my cue, I was like, hey, Johnny, like, see, this is my art. And I had some Buttman in there. I grabbed a sampling of my, maybe I had some color copies of my art. And he flips through it. He's in his wig, and he's like, it's a lot of butts, It's like it's pretty singular vision. I go, yeah, I could do other stuff. And he just hands it back to me. I'm like, oh, fuck. And I was like, oh, thanks, Johnny, And I was like, oh, that was cool. And then I'm like trying to spin that in my head of like, it immediately goes to he fucking hates you. What's stupid? Like, why did you, why did you do that? And then, I don't know the movie. Like, when they do a Hollywood movie, they change the name. I didn't know it was going to be Blow. Like, that movie's awesome. And I feel like defeated, and they're like, hey, we were going to pay you for 2 days, but we finished the scene, so you're only going to get paid for 1 day. And I'm like, I'm going to get as much chicken as possible. So I start getting the Tupperware, and I'm like, I'm going to eat for like a week off this craft service food. And I'm walking out, and I see all the Star Wagons, and I see on a door, Paul Rubens. Maleka leka hi, meka hi ni ho. I'm like, here we go. Like fucking my childhood. I'm like, and he had gotten caught and jerking off in a movie theater or something. I didn't give it. Like, I always, maybe I can verbalize it better with the shame, but like when Winona Ryder got caught shoplifting, or like all of that always made sense to me, and it endeared me to. It made them look human. Like, I was like, that's weird. My hero, my childhood hero that did Pee-wee's Big Adventure, Pee-wee's Playhouse, getting caught jerking off, and why did he do that? Why didn't he do it at home? Even those things I didn't understand. I was like, now I'm like, I love that guy. I have nothing but compassion for and that's like a lot of stuff that I had to work out with myself, because a lot of things I do now is I work with, murderers and at-risk youth and children. Like I'll work with anybody, because my old self is like, fuck this dude, fuck this person, fuck you, you hurt me, revenge, very Korean, And now I go, if, and I work with people in prisons, I go, if you're willing to be a better version of yourself, I can, I'm not a scientist, but I can use art and creativity to work with you to be a better person, or try at least, if you're willing. Only if you're willing. If you're not willing, then I don't want to waste my time. And great. So, fuck it, I'm gonna do it. So Johnny didn't want the porn here. I read a little. I don't remember exactly what I wrote, and I was like, biggest fan, love you. I think I wrote like, I don't care what they say about you. Like, I'm still love you, and I can draw other stuff, but here's stuff I've done for. And I left it on his thing and knocked it. And I was too embarrassed to and I ran away. And I mean, it just there was so many moments. I remember. And then so like it's gradual, right? Like it's like, okay, and then this little thing happens and this, it was like, I don't know, a decade before the Facebook, and also I don't pay attention to that stuff. So as the Facebook stuff was rising, Sean would text me and he's like, hey, those shares are worth $250,000 now, but then at the time I was gambling and I was making that much gambling. So I was like, whatever, I don't care. And he's like, yo, they're worth $1 million now. And I had quietly become a millionaire. By the time I was 30, I had a huge art show with Steve Lazaridis, who's Banksy's art guy. And I was like, I hit at the right time that shit, like, oh, fuck you, dad. Look, I fucking made, like the art that he hated me for. I was like, look, there it is, And there was always a lot of anger at that. It's like, you fucking live in a house that was paid for by like spray painted dicks, motherfucker. Fuck you. Who, and it's like, I love my parents. It's a love-hate relationship. It's complicated, or maybe it's not that complicated, but it's like, hearing, I know how proud of, even though it's not very Asian for a parent from another country to say, I'm proud of you. Like he's like, we like kiss on the lips. He's like, and he rubs my face. Like, I fucking love you, dude. He doesn't cuss, but he's like, I love you. I'm proud of you. And it's like, all that shit. I just said, it's like, So I have a lot of compassion for my family. So like I remember, and then things like I started working for Vice. I had this relationship with Gavin McInnes and Shane Smith, and they're like, hey, you went to Africa to look for a dinosaur. You hitchhike and this was as print is dying and they were the first early adopters of tech, and they're like, Vice is gonna move to online. I'm like, who? I'm always the guy that's like, who the fuck? What? And it's like, I'm like Korean Forrest Gump. I'm like just in the room with like the most important things in life happening. And I go, all right, cool. And they're like, what can you film for nothing? Because it was, and like Spike Jonze was there in the beginning, Johnny Knoxville, like, it was like the beginning of Vice, and it ended all fucked up because of greed and all that shit. But I was like, every time I hitchhike, something crazy happens. They're like, okay, cool, film that. So then I started filming Thumbs Up. I think the first, this is what I was saying with time. I think it was 20 years ago. And I do all that shit. And then it's like all the things, like I was saying, that I was arrested for, I got shamed for, embarrassed for. Now people are giving me money and jobs. And they're like, yeah, all that fucked up shit, can you do it on camera? Can you, and I was like, oh, they like me. My mother was right, And so one day, my friend Dave Chang, who also is, severe gambling issues, I didn't want to meet that guy because that was like looking in a mirror. He was like, everyone's like, he's you, but of cooking. And I was like, I don't need to meet, like, I need to meet with people that lift me out of my shit. That's why I hate meeting other addicts, because then it's like, like you never know how it, like right now I'm sitting here telling, if I started this show telling you what I least want to share, it's like, now I'm addicted to Pokemon, right? Like you go, oh, you haven't gambled in a casino in 10 years. You haven't, and you pat yourself on the back. And then the worst thing happens. My kid gets into Pokemon. I go into a shop. I had no idea that packs cost $20. I open a pack and the worst possible thing could happen. I get the hit card. It's like, you got the Sunbreon, the $1,000. And I'm like, wait, hold on. Wait, what? And I go, oh, this is gambling. And in 6 months, I've gone from like, maybe I'll spend $100, which at the time I was like, for fucking cards. And now I spend thousands of dollars a day on it. And I always turn my addictions which I'm always open about, into my job. But it's for work. The buttholes, that was for work. Everything's for work. It's like, oh, now I'm drawing on I got one for you. I'll give it to you later. I drew on Mike Tyson for you because I know you like Michael John.
I should give context. Dave sent me a text yesterday. He said, what's your favorite Pokemon? And I don't know because I don't follow Pokemon. And he goes, what's your favorite athlete? And I said, Mike Tyson.
That's a Pikachu painted on top of Mike Tyson for you.
This is so dope.
So, I mean, it's
Thank
like,
you.
You're welcome. You know, the addictions, the things they say about addiction is it's baffling, cunning, seductive. And so I'm like, oh, I'm not, the gambling comes up in other ways. It's like trading cards, like little things. And it's like, I'm not, as a middle-aged man, and I'm shaming myself, it doesn't feel good to be, like I'm friends with guys that are like Money Mark, who's in the Beastie Boys. Like he's 65, and my friend Bill Poon, who I used to do a podcast, he's 62. So like I'm a middle-aged man hanging out with other middle-aged men in the middle of the night, talking about Predator Badlands, talking about like childish Arrested Development type of shit. I go, and the thing is, like, I've been to countries and cultures where they're like, even being a Mormon, and like when you turn 18, there is a ritual that happens that says, now you're a man. And we don't have that in our culture. So that's why you have grown men wearing Pokemon t-shirts and talking about fantasy. It's all the same. Fantasy football. It's all fantasy. It's all immature shit. And you just have grown men collecting toys and comic books and talking about cards. And it's like, okay, if it makes you happy, cool, I guess. But there's always a part of me that's like dissatisfied. Like I do like my daily affirmations of like, I don't need to do anything today for Andrew to like me. Like I'm enough. Like I have to sit in that. And I was like, no, I gotta, and then I got it from you. It's like we talked once on the phone before I showed up today, and you've sent me a mountain of this yerba mate, this delicious Mateina, and I'm like, I fucking like, this is like crack to me now. And I'm like, oh, this guy I don't know is just sending, hey, can I get some more of that? And I told you I was starting to get sick, and you're like, oh, I'm going to send you some peptides, and da-da-da. And I go, what a sweetie, and cute, and like awesome, and very handsome, and like your shirts, the way they fit every time. I'm like, dude, you got some guns, and like the clothes look good. I'm jealous of your posture. And I just go, oh, this guy's a caretaker. Like I don't even fucking know the guy, and he's sending me like, I don't know if peptide's a drug, but he's like, I'll help you, Dave. I'll send you these experimental medicines and this. And I go, thank you, but also you don't need to do any of that. Yeah, like I just wanted to meet you. And
but to be clear, I know I don't have to. It's in my nature to want to care for people that I feel love towards.
I know, but like we just met, and I'm like, those things take time. And then you're like, no, I got people to do that or whatever. And I go, I'll speak for myself. The cost of that at some point is you, right? When you spend so much time thinking of others, and it feels like against how I was raised. And I go, oh, fuck, this feels selfish for me to, like I never took at the height of my workaholism, I was touring with my band. My podcast was DVDSA was, which I did with Asa Akira, porn star, and Bobby Lee and Steve Lee. It was becoming like the biggest, there was no one doing podcasts back then. It was Joe, Adam Carolla. I'm trying to remember. It wasn't what it is now, And so it was insane. Like, cause I grew up on Howard Stern, and I'm like, just hearing him fight, like you couldn't say a certain thing, and then he'd get punished by the FCC, and then someone was like, hey, Dave, you know what a podcast is? I go, this sounds weird. What's a podcast? And they go, and talking about terrestrial radio and the FCC and rules and I was like, it's a new canvas. I was like, you can say anything? You can fucking say, like, you could fucking cuss and tell like the worst story, like, and I couldn't believe that it existed. I couldn't believe, and so, and I didn't like come in with a mission statement, and I know intention's huge, and part of it was I was just running, but now in hindsight, I go, what was that? And I was like, oh, shame chasing. I was like, how can I record the downfall of me. Like how much can I go over the edge? How much can I push up against this boundary and see it? Because let me see if you care, right? And first of all, I was like, no one's listening. Turns out it was a lot of people listening, but I didn't know that at the, we started, I was like, let's just go. Let's record our downfall. Let's record our bottom. Like as an addict, like being how, like I'm chasing shame. Like I'm like, in a way it's like this, like someone who's like a flasher. They're like, what kind of person gets off on like running down the street? I was like, that's what I'm doing. I'm not a mentally well person, that I'm dealing with demons inside me that I don't know how to articulate. So I'm going to workaholism. I'm trying to find myself and find out what I'm trying. Like and it's just so painful. I feel misunderstood, and I go, let's just fucking say the worst possible things every episode and make fun of it like a joke. And it's just like, once again, if I look back and I go, what's the worst things that ever happened to me? Jail, like getting canceled multiple times. It's like all of it led to the best moments of my life. So I don't sit here and judge, oh, this was good, this was bad, because good moments lead to bad. It's just life, right? It's fluid, and there's a spectrum of good and bad. So I remember just there was so many. I'm like doing this podcast, and in my mind I was like and having Howard Stern write me that, going on his show and him telling me afterwards in private, dude, you're out of control, was the greatest compliment. Howard Stern, the despise, the king of all media, telling me, and I asked him on the show if he can adopt me, and I'm like, I'm the prince of all media. I fucking do comics, and I do fine art, I do graffiti, I can do anything, and to have that validation and we don't talk regularly, but I started sending him watercolor stuff, and then he got into water, and he's fucking really good. Like everything, he went into it. And so that was, and then at one point I was talking to his producers about being on Sirius, like right after him. And I was like, there's like, Jane Cho was right. I am the greatest. Like I can do anything. And then, people started listening, and they're like, these people are saying the worst shit ever. And I was like, I know, but don't they know I'm a comedian? Like, you never told anyone, like, and that's not funny, but whatever. I shouldn't have said like a lot of the things I said. And I never gave, I don't like, as an artist, I don't like, like, here's my black penis I painted on the wall. Like, I paint and I do stuff, but the mistake that I made was words, like, in the spectrum of entertainment and art, everyone watches movies and video, like that's up here. So has the most eyeballs on it. And you go all the way down to, at the time, podcasts, art gallery. Nobody gives. You do whatever you want. No one cares. And so that's how I was approaching it. And people go, when you paint the most fucking vile, obscene, disgusting shit, it's still a painting, right? But when you say stuff, people take it literally. Like you're coming at a microphone like it's an abstract. Ah! Oh shit! I scared myself. That was so good. I love that. Oh my god, that felt good. That was a good scream. That was like your punk rock. Someone sampled that and turned that into a punk rock song. But I treated it like it was just another. It was Sean Parker. I'm not blaming. It was these people in my life that I witnessed as successful. They didn't take reality seriously. Right? I'm like, I don't care. I'm going to push it as far as I can because I don't care. Because I don't respect reality. I've never have. Like, is that what you saw? You fucking believe in Santa? Yes. Yes, I believe. Look into my eyes. I believe in Santa Claus. 100%. There's no part of me that doubts that. That's who you're talking to. A mentally ill person working on himself, trying to express himself as, like a perfectly imperfect, unrepeatable miracle of the universe. That's how I'm trying my best. That's it. So I meet David Chang. I become friends with him. He's like, let's go to dinner. I'm going to bring my friend. And his friend happens to be Anthony Bourdain. Immediately, like, I've met my brother. Like, he's older than me, but it was just, ex-heroin addict, got through it through workaholism. And I could see that he was tired, you know, and he had a thing that he kept saying. He's like, what's your life? You just fucking watch TV and watch The Simpsons. And, you know, he had this story, like, I have to live an interesting life. And he's like, oh, I'm doing, you know, so I developed a friendship with him because it was just organic. Like, it wasn't like, oh, I want to, he was in a way grooming either Chang or me or Roy Choi. I don't know, he liked Asians, but he was grooming us to take over, basically. And that once again fed my ego of like, oh, he can see what he thinks I'm special. Like, the guy that is the most interesting person on the planet wants me to take over. Like, oh my God, this is great, you know? So he's like, you know, it's like, you're doing, you know, his show changes names, no reservations. It kept changing. And so, you know, every time I ate with him, it was insane. I mean, I don't know if he had eating disorders or what, but it's Anthony Bourdain. So you go in a restaurant and they bring out every fucking food, right? Like everything. And I'm watching him. He takes a sip of water. Thank you. Can you wrap this up? I'm like, you're not going to eat, you know, because everywhere he went, every chef wanted to. And he's like, Dave, if I ate all this shit, like I'd be like 300 pounds, you know? So I'm like, can I take it home? He's like, yeah, you could have it. And then as I got to know him a little better, every time he came to LA, he'd stay at Chateau Marmont. And I'd be like, is your life just eating at restaurants? And he's like, yeah. I go, hey, from now on, just come to my house. My mom's like, he's like, I would fucking love that. You know, he closes his eyes. Like, so whenever he would come to LA, he would go to my mom's house. My mom loved him. Like Tony and my mom were, I don't know what his relationship with his mom was like, but he loved my mom, and he knew culture. So he'd always bring the Asian pears. You know, he knew like, oh, I'm going to a Korean's house. And then after a while, like when I meet people that I love and I respect, I value the friendship. So I don't go, and that doesn't mean I don't value you. I was like, I would love to be friends with you first before doing your podcast, but I was like, fuck it. Like, let's just jump into it. But
we'll do it in reverse.
Yeah, we'll do it in reverse. And same thing, like, I never asked to be on his show. But after a while, he just was like, Dave, I'm doing LA. And I go, but haven't you done LA? He goes, yeah, but this is specifically Koreatown. And I go, okay. I mean, I grew up in Korea. I was born and raised in Koreatown. But so then his production company, 0.0, I loved it because when I did Thumbs Up, I'm everything. I'm the director, I'm the production. It's just like Thumbs Up is me, my friend Harry, a camera guy, and like a chase van. That's it. It's 4 people. But, you know, I was like, oh, this is like what a real TV show is like. He had guys setting up shots, and it was like a lot of people. And I go, oh, fuck, this seems cool. Like, you don't have to. So his producer calls me and goes, okay, we're going to set this show up for like 2 months from now. And it's Koreatown centric. Like, and I go, okay, but do you want to do fake? Like, I'm down. Like, what do you guys need? Like, I know all the restaurants and stuff in Koreatown now, but Koreans don't eat Korean food. Like, from my era, we didn't have any money. So when we go out, we eat at Sizzler, we eat at Denny's. We get Korean food at home, you know, like, so if he's trying to do an authentic story about where I eat in Korea, it's in Koreatown, it's Sizzler. And like every Korean American I know eats at Sizzler. And so she's like, so you're telling me we're going to bring Anthony Bourdain to, you know, spend all this money to take him to Sizzler? I go, hey, I just told you, like, I'll fake it. Like, I know all the new spots. I know all the chefs. But I didn't eat that shit growing up. He goes, no, Tony loves authenticity. I'm like, we're going to fucking Sizzler then. So we do this whole episode. He comes to my warehouse and it's like, pitfall after pitfall. Like, I remember at the time, Channing Tatum came to my, like, he's like, his agent, this guy, Bill, Korean guy, Channing Tatum's agent's Korean, and he calls me and he goes, my client Channing Tatum loves you. And like, it's like, after all these things and getting canceled over and over again in comics and whatever field I went in, there was always, you're not supposed to do that. You're not supposed to paint on a Mike Tyson card. You're not supposed to paint over this graffiti. You're not supposed to, there's rules that you're not following. And I'm like, it was this, my whole life. So I remember Channing Tatum was also attracted to that, and he showed up with his agent, and he's like, he was a pretty boy. He's one of the most handsome guys, but he's so talented. And I'm like, I don't fucking want to meet Channing. I don't care about Channing Tatum. And then he came to the warehouse, and he's like, don't think of me as just like the pretty boy dancing, step up from the streets guy. Like, I'm about to do G.I. Joe, but like, I'm like, and I'd put out zines and like self-published books, and I write the way I talk right now. And he'd read that. And I was like, Channing Tatum read, he goes, you're a great writer. And I'm like, there it is again. I'm like, I write porn. He's like, no. You have a way of talking and writing that I need to be a part of that. Like whatever, I go, but I've never written a script. He goes, whatever you write, I'm going to produce it. And I go, holy shit, dude, this is amazing. And then like, I don't know, I'm time jumping, but at some point, I got a little cocky, and he put out 21 Jump Street, which Johnny Depp again, and I said, there's Ice Cube's talking to Korean Jesus during that movie. Do you guys still have that Korean Jesus? He's like, oh yeah, we made that I go, if you guys want to work with me, I need that Korean Jesus. So they sent me the Korean Jesus, and I put it in my warehouse, and I prayed to it every night. I prayed to Korean Jesus. And what else? I mean, because of all the canceling, it's like if I get canceled at Marvel, then DC wants to work with me. So it's like, once again, being rewarded for the bad behavior. So there's this editor at DC Comics. Oh, cool. I can't draw Hulk and Wolverine, but Batman, Superman. And this guy, Axel Alonso, who worked at Vertigo, which was like the more adult, like they do Sandman and stuff like that. He contacts me, and he's like, I've been reading your fucking fucked up articles in Vice. He's like, you're a writer. I go, that's the thing that I have the most respect for, is writing. Like, I have a book in me. I haven't sat down, but it's like, it's in here. I'm too scared to get it out. But he's like, yeah, your art's okay. I go, okay. And he goes, I want you to write a book about, it was like Koreatown gangsters it was shit that I didn't know about. I was like, fuck it, I'll make it up. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to write it like this. And he's like, no, you're going to write it and someone else is going to draw it. I was like, oh, okay. But he was like, and then I started writing it, and I start writing him emails like it's done, and email bounce back. He quit and like moved to Marvel, and I'm like, oh fuck, it was almost about to happen again, And then my podcast starts getting bigger and bigger, and I'm in my full workaholism. I'm aware that I'm an addict. I'm in my full addiction. I'm gambling with my life and life savings every single day while touring with my band Mangchi, doing the news for Vice, doing art shows like legally around the world and doing illegal, and people are like, are you on coke? I'm like, I don't have I get high off, and each thing is like, I have to do I'm not enough. That's what I believe about, that's what I did believe about myself, and still sometimes today is, everything the world had shown me is that, besides from my mother, is that you're not, and that was also confusing because she sent me away and abandoned me. So it was like, you're telling me I'm the best, but then you threw me out like trash. So a lot of mixed messages, and the messaging that I heard growing up that I received was, you're not enough. Women don't date Asians. Your art looks like shit. You're not following the graffiti rules. Your art's a little too aggressive to be refined it's just, everything is just, so everything had to be, it's not like I can kind of be in this field. Like, I have to have the best podcast. And in my mind, that was Howard Stern. So I was like, however extreme he is, I have to go, like, Howard's the ringleader, but I need to be the guy that's and I don't care what happens to me, because I've had 3rd-degree burns all over my foot. Like, my brother's read my diary. I've been stabbed in I don't care what you do to me, because it'll never be what I can do to myself. I've hurt myself. So then I'm in Russia or the North Pole interviewing. It's my first time doing the serious news. And I remember at the time, Shane and Eddie and everyone at Vice, we sat down and they're like, Dave, your podcast is out of control. It's like, and they all know me. They're like, you can't say those things. I go, I can say what the fuck I want. I'm like, this is Vice, baby. Like, we did. They're like, Dave. And it was like, second season of Vice News on HBO. The first season was Dennis Rodman in North Korea, getting a lot of attention. We start getting Emmy nominations. And the year that we did it, I won the Emmy for the news. I'm like, my ego's like, oh, the first time doing the news, fucking nailed it. And I'm like, I'm God, dude. I can do serious news and I could do weird butthole talk on this show. And I could do serious fucking delicate watercolors that could be in a museum. And I could do the most craziest, like, you can't fucking put me in a box. And if you try to, I'm like, I am better than you. I'm better than you as a human being. I'm better than you as an art. And it was like, my friends just like, because it's easier when you're an alcoholic or drug addict. You're like, bro, you're unhinged. You're out of control. But it was just narcissism, hating myself, self-destructive behavior. Just, and the people would come with me. I'd bring them to, because I controlled my addiction. Like I knew that I had a problem, and I know the nature of addiction is you can't stop. So I did something that I've never heard another addict do, which is I would hire people, close friends, being like, I'm an addict. I cannot be trusted. I'm a liar. I'm a thief. And so when I'm in my gambling state, I don't hold my money. So as soon as I'm win the number I told you I'm win, I need you to punch me in the face. I need you to drag me away from the table, because now I'm going to say anything to keep going. So I can never touch my own money. If you see me falling in love with a girl and going into my love addiction, I need you to come and punch me in my face. And like, I gave permission for people to hurt me physically and to physically remove me. It's like if I was an alcoholic, it would be, I'm at a bar and after 2 drinks, if you see me take a third, boom, and drag me out of the bar. So in that way, very sadomasochistic, but successful. Like because I had someone, and they would only get paid if they got me to stop, right? But then I would pay these people to stop me and then try to figure out ways to, So at the height of my workaholism is the height of my addiction. Like I don't sleep. There's days, and then I had a heart attack when I was 35, an angina attack. I collapsed. I went blind. I collapsed, and of course, like a lot of stories, as soon as I didn't go to the hospital, as soon as I woke up, I was like, what the fuck was that? Like I woke up 30 hours later, another day, and I just went back to gambling. But it was like, I could go into euphoric recall and just start telling, like, but I don't want to like glamour, because it's like, I figured out how to be in the world. If I have sex with lots of women and win lots of money and work really hard at all these jobs, then I will be validated and congratulated and held up high in this culture, even though if I'm dying inside. I've spent so much time in shame. I need to go, I want to see what it feels like to be like a winner, But then that's when I got there, I go, what do you do when you get to the, heavy is the crown. It's lonely I got to the top and I was like, kind of boring. The kid in the village with the match, let's burn it down. We got here. It's like, and that was my childhood, literally. I would spend a lot of time building giant Legos with all the loot. Like we had like all mismatched Legos that was like, hand-me-downs. And I would build a giant starship and my brother would come in, cool, and just smash it. I was like, I worked so long on that. But that was me doing, my brother is somewhere around about to destroy my career. Let me just do it myself. Let me self-sabotage myself. Self-sabotage. It was like mini suicides, And so it's all, I'm like, here I am. I'm finally going to be, validated as a human being, And then I get, Vice telling me, hey, you can't do your podcast and the news. I go, well, then go fuck yourself, And then we win the Emmy, but I'm not part of that anymore. And then I can't keep track because they're like, did you know this artist got caught on saying, I go, it's on my podcast. It was my podcast. You don't fucking, it's not like I did it on purpose. Anyways, it just kept happening. And I'm at the sickest I've been mentally, and I'm trying to make sense of my situation while the world has its own issues. And I hit my bottom. I just went so off the deep end, and my friends were all like, you're going to die. Like, it's not like a normal OD with drugs, but you like literally had a heart attack from like not sleeping and gambling for like a week straight, like masturbating nonstop to pornography, just like video games, Like I couldn't stop playing Angry Birds, which like everything's like, so I can make a joke out of it. And they're like, that's your safety thing, is to like make a joke out of it. And so I walk in to, you know, a meeting and Channing Tatum's dude is like, Channing ain't fucking working with you. And it wasn't him. It was like, hey, it was the agency. It was like, we've spent all this time building up a heartthrob teen idol thing. He's not going to be fucking seen with a scumbag like you. I go, oh shit, it's happening again. Shame. I walk into 0.0. Bourdain's like, when I'm done, it's you. Here's a book deal with my publishing company. Your show's going to be on CNN. It's going to be exactly like mine, but with art. Like you're going to travel around the art and it's like authentic to you because you already do that. I'm just like, holy shit, dude. It paid off. All the bad behavior, like I met my kindred spirit and I knew he wasn't happy. That's I can't watch, like it's been years since all that happened and I can't. Like I felt like I met someone who finally understood me. So I know it wasn't him, but you know, I don't remember the guy's name. I remember them, and they could have told me over the phone. They're like, Dave, it was like getting caught at the principal's office. It's like, and I'm pumped. I'm like, my mom was right. Jane Joe was right. Like the most interesting man on the planet, like my friend Tony, is like handing me the baton. Like, and I'm gonna do him. Like I'm gonna go for it. Like I wasn't married. I didn't have kids. I'm like, I'm gonna fucking really, really, like I took it so seriously. Went to Nat Geo, took all the meetings, and you know, I remember sitting at a table just like this, and the whole 0.0 production team is like, we love Tony. Like he goes, but we are not working with you. And I go, you couldn't fucking send an email? Like what are you, shaming? And all of this is fuel for me. Like they don't know this. I'm like, the more you fucking do this to me, the more you're giving me my drug, which I'm chasing, which is anger and shame. It's a fucking powerful drug, right? And I go, oh, okay, just another on the list that I got to prove wrong. Like I will make you regret the same way Chip regrets fucking talking. Like I will make you feel, you come at me, you better fucking kill me because I'm going to fucking destroy you now. Like I am going to make the most awesome show ever. And, you know, Tony called me and apologized. Like, dude, I don't, like they're their own company. Like we work together, but the optics aren't good. And I go, all right, you know. And I was like, missed it by that much. Like, so I had grown accustomed to it. Like this is not a new, it's, if I could just keep telling another, like, oh, and then Marvel rejected me, then DC, then blah, blah, blah. The episode I did with Tony, I take him to Sizzler. I show him how I fucking did a fusion with a meatball and a taco. It was true to me, right? You know, I hammed it up a little bit for the camera. I wore my like shiny red Sizzler suit, but that was me. That was how my family, and it resonated. It was the most watched episode. Like I introduced him to Estevan Oriol and Mr. Cartoon. He loved all the lowrider cars.
Love those guys.
It was a fucking LA episode, and it was like my friends, and it was like, it was awesome. I felt so good, and I just started getting, like, Sizzler asked me to be their spokesperson. Like, and the episode is me talking shit about how horrible their food is, but it has this, I'll do it, guys, I'll do it. And so they're like, it's the most watched episode of that. And then we won an Emmy for that season. And I'm just like, and then that happens. And I'm like, holy shit. Like, and then you go on Netflix or whatever it was on, and that episode's just missing. I mean, it's back now, but they took it off. And I was like, just keep striking, you know? And I'm like, what did I do? You know, like me playing Vic, like, what did I do? Did I do that? Like, I'm Urkel. I'm like, you're a fucking idiot, dude. You do dumb shit that you shouldn't do. You should shut the fuck up and just, and when I meet the most powerful intellectually, like just these powerhouse humans, once again, it doesn't always have to be sexual abuse, but it usually is with men, right? I mean, women, I don't know that experience because I'm not a woman, but for a man to take your humanity like that, then I see, because it's PTSD, it's right, post-traumatic stress disorder, but then every now and then, like I don't know what the exact stats are, you get PT, I'm making this up, PTGD, post-traumatic growth disorder. It's like that should have turned me into a drug addict, homeless person, but instead I took all that pain and I was like, K-Rage, I'll show you. I'll fucking show you. You should have never done that to me. You should have never. You should have never minimized me and put me down and disregarded me. And now I have to teach you a lesson. Now I have to show you who you're fucking with. And it's such a horrible. It's such a painful way to live life. And I can't live with that pain, so I have to just keep doing more. It's never enough. I have to just keep showing you that I'm enough. So then I'm living in like a very, I know I'm telling a very name-droppy, like douchey LA story, but you know, I have Anthony Bourdain, who's I consider a friend and my hero and my idol. Like, I was in a gang called Koreans Got Bad. That was 2 people, me and my friend Harry Kim. But we wrote it everywhere, KGB everywhere. And then I remember the episode came out and he wrote KGB forever or something like that. Koreans Got. I'm like, fucking, my gang is Harry Kim and Anthony Bourdain. Like, I was like, it made me so happy that it's like, Tony Bourdain is repping my set, you know, like I'm a fucking gang, you know, it was 2 fucking dumbasses just drawing dumb bucktooth whales. And I mean, I miss that guy so much.
The people that were close to him, like you and Joe,
yeah.
It's the same response, always.
So then I'm like lost. I'm getting closer and closer to hitting my version of a bottom. And I get a call from David Arquette, like the actor, you know, and I love all the Arquettes, you know, but David, you know, this is LA shit, right? He just reaches out and he's like, hey, I'm watching TV right now with my, I think, fiance at the time, and we just saw your Anthony Bourdain. And he's like, that's the most fucking LA shit. He's like, I was in a crew called KGB, Kids Gone Bad. And I was like, no, Koreans Gone Bad, you know. And he goes, it's crazy. Like, I used to do graffiti and tag. I used to write KGB. And I grew up eating at Sizzler with my family. And he goes, and I forgot. He was like, I'm turning 45 or 50. I forgot how old he was. But it was like a big one, like 40. And I'm having it at like, Sizzler's almost out of business. I think there's like 3 left in LA. And he's like, and it's at the Sizzler that I grew up, and I would love for you to be here. And all that stuff always, all like weird celebrity stuff always makes me nervous, because I'm like, I don't know if they're gonna be fake or, you know. And I'm a sensitive person. Like, if I'm meeting new people and they don't like me, I'm like, oh, I'm a piece of, you know, I'm sensitive. I'm a sensitive artist. So I go to Sizzler with my friend Critter. I was like, hey, can you come with me? And we get to Sizzler and it's packed, and there's the buffet bar with the cheese toast, and he's like, Dave, I want you to meet some friends here. Come sit at this table. And I sit down, and it's Sacha Baron Cohen, like my fucking hero, and Pee Wee Herman. And I'm like, holy fuck, dude. And, you know, both of them are just huge art fans. So like, they don't know my art, but, you know, David Arquette talking, he's like, this guy's an awesome artist. And they're like, oh, cool, we want to check it out. And so, you know, Sacha Baron Cohen like collects a lot of Banksy and this and he's like, fuck, dude, I got to come to your studio. I got to, you know. So then I'm like, oh, cool. Like, once again, like this, oh, people like me. And if people like me, then maybe I like myself, you know, like, and it's nice. It's nice to be liked. It feels good to be validated and liked by people that you look up to, right? So especially Pee Wee Herman's my art god. Like I said, Bob Ross, Mr. Rogers, dope. But for me, that's what I grew up on. that fucking the full commitment to that character, the voice, the king of cartoon, Penny, the stop motion animation. It spoke to me, you know, all the Gary Panter art. So I go, fuck, I don't know when am I going to meet this guy again. I go, hey, I don't know, 20 years ago, 15 years ago, you did a movie called Blow. And he's like, oh yeah, Blow, you know. I go, hey, did you ever remember like getting a porn package on your step? And he's like, and like I'm trying to read his eyes. He's like, no, I don't remember that. And I was like, I guess someone, you know. But I did get his number that night. And then, you know, as I hit like I wouldn't be here today without my friends, just all who love me came and they're like, Dave, you're not like, it went too far this way. You know, you used to be this sweet, nice, humble guy and you need a lot of help. So I, like everything else, obviously it was the hardest thing I ever did in my life, but including plant medicine, therapy, rehabs, men's groups, 12-step meetings, just whatever, if someone said it was going to help you, I'm like, you're just breaking like generations of, all fucking Asians hit their kids, all, you know, everyone got sent away, you know, just like, I know, but I want it to stop. It's either I fucking kill myself or I need it to stop. And enough people caring about me made me care about myself enough. And I did, I got the podcast, the band, like the people, and they go, they'll be fine. Everyone's going to figure it out. And I got help. And, you know, as soon as I was out of the first rehab, like 45 days, I was like, I'm going to do a podcast about this. And they're like, Matt out there, he's just like, hey, why don't you live this life before you start telling it? He's like, but I learned so many. You go, yeah, but why don't you implement it in your life? And so I'm 49 now. I rarely do podcasts. I still do something creative every single day. I like to do it with other people. I've you know, I'd like to thank the sponsor today for this, God. You know, I know people are like, oh, you're religious. I go, I don't believe in God, but I still pray to him. And like God, whatever you want to call it, like whatever that is, whatever that thing that controls telepathy and Santa and connection and all this, he doesn't care if I believe in him. He's still there, right? It's like such an ego thing. Like, I don't believe, who cares the thing, it's like saying you don't believe in the ocean. The ocean is still there. So I want to thank that guy. And so as I live this life and then I start to be like, what is my purpose? Why am I here? What is, you know, before your art was about like disgustingness and offending people. And it was just a fuck you, just showing people, hey, Asian people aren't all quiet. Like you're a rebel, like you're supposed to shut the fuck up and become a lawyer or a doctor. And then just like, I always tell people, they go, oh, how do I make it? I go, I'm an expert in disappointing my parents. You must disappoint your parents. Like my dad is so disappointed in me over and over again until he's not. But I'm like, what would have happened if I didn't disappoint him? I would have got a pretty high SAT. I would have, you know, probably been on my second marriage, lawyer, golf, like, and he would be like, I don't know. I don't know. But I know that he's proud of me now, and it was like a long, hard path to get there. And so and part of me, you know, if you can't tell by now, it goes like this. The pendulum swings very hard. So I said to myself, I'm going to, like everything up until now has been about, look at me, let me show you. And it's like, and I go, I got to take some space for me now. And you know, I work with all these youth groups and stuff, and people go, hey, you know, you did a lot of media and you did a lot of shit where you put yourself out there showing the worst part of yourself and like trying to prove to people that you're not a good person. It's like, you know, it would like touch people and help people to see like your journey and your path. And I go, fuck that. I'm not going to put myself through that. Like I'm taking space. And they're like, yeah, but like at some point, are you going to share your story? And I go, no, that's too literal. I hate words. Words can be confused. Words can be misconstrued. I'm not doing that. I'm just doing this, and this is enough. Like your ego goes, oh, I'm working with 12 kids today. But if it was filmed, it could reach millions of people. And it's like, no, you're working with 12 kids today, and that's it. And That's enough, right? But then at some point after this is years, a decade of recovery, I thought, well, part of the reason why I hate working with like Netflix, Hulu, HBO, it doesn't matter. Like they're all corporations. They could be cool or whatever, but and even podcasts, that's the conversation we had. I'm like, it all gets edited. It's like as soon as anything gets a little, and so I go, I'll just make my own show because I have money to do that, and it's not going to cost that much. And then if someone wants to buy it, they will or they won't. So I started making my version of Pee-wee's Playhouse, which was the Choe show, and it came out on FX on Hulu, and I got to learn what taking notes and having, corporate feedback and whatever. I'm grateful that it happened, but they killed a lot of the episodes, and then everyone's like, who's your dream guest? And I was like, it doesn't matter. I'll talk to anybody. I'll talk to like the garbage man. I'll talk to, but they're like, it's for TV, so you should try to get some celebrities or well-known people. And I was like, I want Pee Wee Herman, and I had his number still from Sizzler. So I called him, and and Pee Wee Herman's like, I don't know if he's just one of those people that once he gets your contact info, you get a birthday message from him every year or a Christmas card. And I was like, every time I got it, I would show all my friends. I'm like, it just made me feel so good. So yeah, I have those emails that Sean Parker said about like what he wanted from my art to disrupt the world. I have the nice message from Howard Stern, and I have the voice. So I called Pee Wee, and he's like, Dave, I got some health stuff going on, and he's like, I feel honored. Thank you. Like, I love your art. Now he got to learn a little bit about me, and he's like, and I would love to be on your show, but I don't know. I don't want to be on camera anymore. And he's like, you could send the episodes, and I'll give you some, like, if you're open to it. I was like, of course, and it just like, I couldn't believe that I was talking to him, and he like was talking back to me as a equal. And then, but I got it right away. He's not going to do it, And then at the end, right before I hung up, he goes, you paint butts really good.
Oh, man.
He got it. And he's like, I'm old. I don't want to talk on the microphone. So I don't know if that answered your question about the South Bay. I know that was a long answer for the one question you asked me, but I don't know. Like when people I feel like you're an open person. So if you ask me something, I'm like, and you're ready to go into my head space and we can go there together, then I feel like cared for, listened to, and like I'm like, because you listen and they're not present. They're looking at their phone. They're like, okay, this show's 2 hours, and I'm like, I got and that's also how I write. Very long run-on sentences, no punctuation. So there's no, like, creativity is such a hard thing to have a conversation about because it's not, like, my path is not someone else's path. And today it's just every day I wake up with what I didn't have before, which is gratitude. I just wake up and it's like, I had a horrible day today. Like, it was not good. Like, the fucking, like, flat tire, appointment canceled, moved back, fucking crazy family shit happening with my dad. And I was just like, I wasn't going to cancel, but the feeling was like, this is not the right headspace to go. And then I said, you know what? I could sit there and like self-analyze. Oh, you have depression, you have this, and it's like almost some weird OCD, like, and you're a horrible person, and you have antisocial traits, and then go, okay, and then what are you gonna do about it? And so I sit back now, and if I examine my life like a scientist, I go, hey, what was all that shit about on your why did you say that stuff on your podcast? Why did you, like, do that thing that's against your value system? What was about the fucking like all the suicidal ideation, all the times you try to, like, what was that about, you know? And not just, like I said, like logically, I know if I sound hypocritical, not just trying to like analyze it, like, but just an examination of my own heart, like doing an x-ray of my heart. It's like, what were you feeling then? And why, like, what is the shame hitting and why did you do that? And like, so I sit there and I go, we live in a society, I'll use I statements. I live in the way the culture I was grown was, when someone asks you how you're doing, it's just good, okay, which aren't emotions. That's all you say. You don't go, oh, let me tell you, like, I'm feeling shame today. And so I was raised in a culture of everything's fine, everything's okay, get along to go along. I was a lot of like the only Asian family in like a white neighborhood or black neighborhoods. So it's like, it's a lot of immigrant story, right? Like, don't rock the boat, don't do anything to stand out. We're guests in this country, we're lucky to be here, don't do basically everything I did, clear up the campground, leave it nice. And so I sit here, and if I'm being introspective, this stuff is like, this is why I say this would be intimate, because this is just private stuff that I don't, like, I'm trying to just, know my own heart. So it's like, why? What is the insane opening Pokemon packs about? Like, right? You could turn that into a joke, or like, what is the unmet need? Like, what is your depression telling you right now? What is your anger like, if your anger is like unmatched with like, oh, there was like a little flare up at school, some kid said something to your kid, and then like your response is like, ah! Like, what's that about? So instead of shaming myself and going, oh, I'm a piece of shit, oh, I did all this work and I'm still this, it's just, and I think if I can get quiet and right-sized in that moment, instead of, oh, I need to like make a story in my head to be like, and just sit in that ugliness and uncomfortable, like, if I can do that, I couldn't do that before. I can't, like, you have to either look at me like I'm nothing or I'm the greatest. I can't just, oh, Dave's kind of boring today, or he's kind of not making sense, or he feels like I couldn't, it had to be all or nothing. It was very black and white, very Christian the way I was raised, OCD, like God's way or Satan's way. And so now I just go, that's Palo Alto. If I could find the Palo Alto in my heart, just like the mundane, culturally, like if I could sit in the boring, mundane space and I dare to be mediocre, dare to be moderate, and just like I'm, like I said, the feeling is like, oh, what's the sensations, and I could, then that's where the brilliance is. Then I could find my inner spark. I could find, and then in that is when I feel the closest to you and other, like, if I'm with another person who's close, this is like just like banging my head against the wall. But if I can meet another spirit or soul, and it doesn't have to, I don't have to agree with you, but it's like I've been talking my ass off. I understand that. Like, we could go all night, right? And if you share with me your heart, then it's a shared brokenness. You don't get to where Andrew Huberman doesn't get to this with a smooth, like, shit went down. I don't know, but it's on your face. And it's like a vibrational thing, right? Like, you don't fucking tattoo your whole body if everything was cool, right? You don't just become as smart as you are without, like, if you want to destroy me intellectually, you can. Like, I would be like, right? So if I can sit in and be vulnerable and say like, hey, I'm not perfect, but I'm not a piece of shit. I'm enough. Like, I don't need to do anything today. And that's, for me, that was like these cultural moments of watching Outkast be inducted into the Hall of Fame and Andre 3000 going, I'm not going to rap, but everyone wants you to. That's not where I'm at right now. I was like, fucking amazing, Or Tarantino saying Paul Dano, this is like the worst part of There Will Be Blood. I was like, wow, that's the best thing that ever happened. You saw like everyone come out to say how brilliant he is. I mean, what if Tarantino just said Paul Dano's amazing? Then that would just, so I just find these, like, what is without trying to like psychoanalyze or overanalyze every moment of my life, just go, the space, right? Because I've done the brain mapping, and they're like, the way it was explained to me, they dumbed it down. They're like, you're not a psychopath because you do psychopathic things, but you actually care about people.
You're not a psychopath.
And they say the space in your brain, there's like a bridge. Like, here's reality. You know, it's like, should I jump off this cliff? And like most people will executive function, like, oh, okay, maybe I'm gonna get hurt. And like that bridge is smaller for people like you. They saw like a little, they go, so you don't really think, you just do. And then that's how you're like, how did I end up in jail? How did I fucking like, and that makes for a great story. That makes for a great fucking life, or like a storybook, crazy life. That makes for, and that's a story that's just told, oh, like you need to be a fucking psychotic, insane, crazy person to be the greatest artist, right? If you're just like a, you know, boring person living at home with like air conditioning and Wi-Fi and your warm cup of Earl Grey, and you could do good art. You could even do great art, but you won't ever be the best because you're not facing your shadow. You're not looking at yourself. That's just technique. That's just craft. That's just skill. Like, I'm ripping my fucking heart out and showing it to you and be like, what do you think? I'm not saying, what do you think? I'm like, fucking, what do you think? You know?
No, I feel it. I mean, I feel it.
Okay.
You know, I mean,
Sorry, there's like spit all over the table.
Dude, please don't apologize. Don't apologize.
I'm slobbering.
No, please don't.
I'm slobbering right into your microphone.
No apology. Ah! You guys almost got me there. No apology. I feel it. I mean, I feel it, and everybody feels it. And if they don't, they should take a look inside. Like we're it's gonna sound like I'm name dropping now, but
go ahead, go for it.
I feel very blessed to have Rick Rubin as my close friend, right? Not because he's Rick Rubin who produced all this music. That's super cool too.
Yeah.
But because he has antennae and he can feel shit. Yeah. And he can feel it, but he doesn't get absorbed in it. It's very interesting. I don't have that. Yeah. I feel stuff and it like it just and I am certain people feel your heart in what you do. The self-sacrifice part is hard to hear about. I can relate.
Well, I talked to Rob a little bit because he's like a PR dude before.
Was a PR. He's like a producer.
I mean, he's out of it.
Yeah.
That smile hides a lot of pain right there. Look at that smile. But it's hard. They say all these like dumb quotes, like no is a complete sentence. And it is, right? I go no and then I have to make up some fake, like, oh, but like I got, my car did get a flat tire, but that used to be a thing I would make up. And then people would be like, let me see the metadata on your phone and make sure that's not a screenshot from like 2 years, so I would lie and make up excuses, but the ability to, it goes against how I was raised. It goes against my culture to just say no to my parents, no to jobs, no to think like leaving money on the table, saying so that I could put myself first for the first time and nurture my own heart and take care of myself is like, it just sounded like I'd already written my story. I'm like, and then when you have heroes like Bourdain, like, I think a lot of people also killed themselves after Bourdain did that because they're like, if the most interesting man on the planet, the guy that's a role model, a guy I look up to, like, he can't fucking figure it out, then fuck, what's there? And then almost validates it. Like, so you can do it too. Like, anyone, like, So I had it written out, like, everyone I look up to, and it's so fucking boring and cliche when I think about it. It makes me so angry. It's like, live fast, die young, and then just have people say nice shit about you. And it's like, or just be a little bit more boring and have wonderful relationships. Like you call me and you go, hey, you're probably busy. I'm like, I'm not that busy, dude. I'm not a busy person. I make a lot of space for myself now. I don't like, and I deserve it. Like I owe that to myself.
Yeah, I was about to say you've earned it, but you never needed to earn it.
Yeah.
I'm glad to hear it because
Will you commit to taking a year off?
I could use some time off
All right,
at
so
some
that
point.
sounds like I'll start the negotiations at a year, and then if I can get you anywhere close to that, because people will be like, oh shit, like the American vacation is like a week or 2 weeks, right? That's nothing. That's like barely enough time to.
Yeah, I have all these war stories. I don't want to make this about me, but I have all these war stories. Like, my girlfriend at the time, she'll validate these as, being, diarrhea and vomiting while writing a grant back when. And, I mean, I've had so many wonderful opportunities, but I've been going pretty hard into the paint since I was 19. Like, that means nonstop. That means like 50 to 100-hour weeks since then.
Like, what's the longest vacation you've ever taken in your life?
4 days.
I mean, this isn't me deflecting. It's just like I just met you, and like I'm so happy that, like, I was like, if he gives me the space to speak, which you did, and you can feel what I was trying to say, and like, to me, like, that's all I want is connection, right? Like, I want to be seen now. Before I was hiding and wearing masks, but in that I felt you, and I go, I didn't know what you were gonna say, but I was like, it's gonna be less than a week, because I know you don't get to where nobody does. Everyone pays the price. You don't get to where you are right now by taking time off. You just don't. But like you just said to me, I'll say it back to you. You deserve it. And and to speak to the workaholic part of you, and I say this to people that are like you and me, you will have more ideas, more inspiration, more, like, you can't think now because you're thinking about how's Rob going to get paid? Because you take care of a lot of people, right? But in that time, I could get rid of all this black. I could add some color here. I could get you some white t-shirts. You could spend time with your family, just the shit that you're running from, And I feel like, okay, a year is unrealistic. You're like, I'm running but it will, like, people, go do plant medicine. I was like, just taking a year off, and first weeks or months will just be you unlearning the workaholism of just, I gotta do something to have value, and to just, and I feel like it will, when you come back, you'll be like 1,000, and sometimes in our culture we get knocked down not by our choice, but I'm like, this would be by your choice. You go, I taking care of Andy today. Love you, Rob. Love you, all you guys out there. But you know what? I'll run your podcast while you're gone.
That would be
I'll
sick.
do all the science. You could feed me some big words to use, but
and I'll go paint.
Oh my God, I feel more comfortable with you now. But it's like I think I would lie to you. Like, whatever you showed me, I would be like, oh, that's cool. But like, I think it's cool that anyone who's an egghead who spends time up here, I think every thinker needs to spend time playing music or painting, because it's the opposite of that, right? You're using the other side of your brain. But it sounds like the way you're painting is very in your head, and I would just rip you out of that. And it would be very uncomfortable, but then you could see the kind of like life, right? You just throw shit at the wall and see what sticks, and through that, it's about control, right? I had to, and part of being in 12-step in recovery is like, and the wisdom to know the difference, the serenity prayer, is I had to, like, you can't control Mother Nature. You can't control fire. You can't control what other people are going to think about you or say about you. You just can't. You could try to, let me write a paper and so that, and yeah, you could do that for a little bit, but it's tiring and it's exhausting to try to get all these people to believe what, and so it goes against to the word winning and the win surrender, right? Like, I win every day because I surrender constantly now. And part of that, I got to still fight, because it's like, you sound like a loser. Why are you giving up, right? It's going, fucking shut the fuck up, pick yourself up by your bootstraps and get back in, Like, that's how you become the best. Like, all the other artists, they're like dealing with like, you don't have kids, you don't get married, you fucking paint, you go to the art store, you buy all the paint up, you fucking keep painting, you steal all the paint. It's like, just keep painting, never stop, and it's all gonna be worth it, because one day you're gonna die, and then legacy. But now we see legacy is nothing, right? I get in an Uber, get in the car, fucking smells like Teen Spirit, right? One of the greatest anthems ever. Guy in the car, 27 years old. What's this?
Well, I'll tell you.
You don't know fucking Nirvana? Okay, have you seen Goodfellas? Like, whatever who's the Godfather, like, go down the list.
The greatest.
Nobody cares.
Right,
it's over.
The greatest
So it's just this. It's just this. This is all you have. So you've done enough. People fucking love you. You've helped so many people. And I want you to take 1 year off. And I don't care if people are like, fuck that guy. That guy helps me every day. I want to hear his soothing voice every night. But I'm like, AI, bro, just use AI. No, I'm kidding. I'm just saying, I would love whatever you've been running from, whatever you've been doing to, like, you help a lot of people, but do you help yourself on that level? And it's like, yeah, starting painting, that's taking care of you. Like, it's not complete all or nothing, but someone like you and other people like you are not going to outsmart the feeling, right? You're not going to outrun the pain. And it's like, I don't know what your father was like. I don't know what your mom was like, but they're proud of you. Like, you don't need to do more. Like, they're proud of you. And like, if you go to what I said, the only way to really make them proud is to disappoint them. You just got to fucking, Andrew, I'm really disappointed in you. Then you know you're doing something right, you know? Sorry for talking over you.
No, I was interrupting.
Your face says a lot, so I just want to know what you're try to.
Well, the part about legacy is where I was interrupting, but it's not. Let's let it pass, because yes and yes, the legacy thing. It's
nothing.
It's nothing.
I feel like I've done so much in acting. Like, I've done all these things, and people are like, "Who's that Chinese kid?" I'm like, it doesn't matter. Like,
well, they don't say that.
It doesn't matter. Like, you do all this stuff so that you have something to leave behind. And I go, you just have this. You just have, like, right now, today, and that's it. And like, we did this today, and then it's off to the universe. I can't control what people are gonna think about me. And it's like, I came here today with my intention of meeting you, telling you how you make me feel, and how much I appreciate you. And I did that. So that's it. And that, like, I have no ill will. I'm not trying to, like, yeah, I probably talk shit about a lot of people right now, but it's like, fine, okay. that's my, and I should probably just let all that stuff go. But to tell someone who's used to winning, who's fought like tooth and nail for everything they had to fight and like prove people wrong over and over again, to tell someone like that, hey, just surrender. It's like, fuck you, dude. You don't tell me that. Like, so yeah, that journey from head to heart it's a big one. And that's why you can't say that to everyone, right? Because they're like, I gotta fucking, but I'm like, I don't know your financial situation, but I'm like, I think you could take a year off. Like, it's not for, but that's the other thing, right? Like, it must be nice, Dave, from your perspective. And I go, I was homeless. Like, I've lived the worst, like, like, people for, like, I know I sound defensive, but like, I wasn't born rich. Like, I worked for this. So it's like, it must sound nice from a rich guy's perspective. And I go, if I think back to my happiest moments, or even just my most creative moments, it was always less. It was never more, right? So when I lived in a tiny house, that means less doors to open, less walls we're living together in and it's fucking cold, but at least we got body, I'm making it sound like, like we were okay, but I'm like, we didn't have that much. And it was great because we had each other. And I think back and I go, okay, creative output. Let's go to work. Let's go back into my head. And I go, oh, every time I had like a Renaissance level creative explosion, there was no Wi-Fi and there was no heater. It was always freezing. It was cold. Like, you're talking about deprivation. Yeah. Like, and then now, like, it's just, it would be with my attention span, it would be impossible for me to get anything done if I didn't go out of my way to block all my electronic devices. I couldn't do it.
My social media is on a separate phone. It goes into a lockbox that can't be coded out.
You don't need
to get work done. I mean, what I hear, well, first of all, I want to be clear that
I don't need an answer from you. I'm just throwing the challenge, the gauntlet down.
All right.
I would love for you to take 1 year off as someone who I just met, who I care about, and I like. We're humans, right? Can't just run forever. Like there needs to be a recharge, a refresh. Like there's just things that that you get offered. I guess you're like, I'm never gonna do that.
I'm not saying why
don't you go to this retreat and just work on this part of your heart or this part of your journey for a month? You're like, I'm not gonna fucking do that. And it's like, but why not? You deserve it. And it's gonna be hard. It's not like a fun vacation. And like for me, the way I think about it is part of like what, because I take podcasting, so like I try to manicure how I look and sound, and I do a lot of and I try to make it look like I didn't, right? Like before I go on Joe Rogan or Howard Stern, I call up people and I fucking do, like, I talk for 12, I go, is this work? Is it like, and then I come on and I try, and that's fake. And it's been years since I did a podcast. So I was like, I'm getting like a very genuine feeling from you. And so I don't want to do that today. And I was that's why I was puking. I was scared. I was like, I'm just going to come in and I might say something that like fucks me up because it has so many times, but I'm just going to be the truest version of, I guess I could. That was scary to me. That was like really being naked. Like I like to be prepared. And like last night, it was late. I couldn't sleep. And I was like, oh, fuck, I can't believe. Because it's like I live a quiet, like I don't. And I was like, oh, man, like, it was like, let me, like not like you're the enemy. I was like, oh, I'm going into enemy territory. What if he has like a gotcha question? Like, I have to have a you know, like it was like I was at Vice again. You know, Vice was so much riffing and witty comebacks. And I was like, this is exhausting. And I was like, but can you just go and just, you know, and I realized it took me like 2 hours to answer like one question, but I also accept that about myself, you know? But yeah, Andrew, Hugh, and then it was like, it finishes your name and all. And I was like, I'm not going to do this. I don't want to do this. I don't want to just fucking read about you all night and then like come in like prepared.
Great.
Like,
Great.
I was like, I'm
so glad you abandoned that.
I did. I said, just fucking tell me.
Dude.
Yeah.
Man, I'm so grateful you showed up here in that frame, that no frame.
Yeah.
I know as soon as I start talking, if I say anything kind about you, you're going to get that thing. But I'm just going to tell you, I'll tell you.
I'll prepare. I'll sit in.
There are a couple reasons you're here. Some of them I touched on earlier. You're an amazing artist. You're an amazing person. But the main reason you're here is because a long time ago, I saw you at a meeting and I learned from you there.
Oh.
And I was like, you know, I would like to be his friend.
Oh, wow.
And I know I can learn a lot from him.
Oh, my God.
So without getting into any details about that.
Yeah, I mean, you can. I don't care.
Well, maybe another time.
I told you.
You know, you've helped me. You've helped me a ton. I also, like, I have this model in my head. Maybe this is the scientist in me, but I feel like you've made yourself like the anvil, the hammer, and the metal. Like all, and it's like this cycle of the opportunity to do something, to feel something, and then, you know, I guess my friend Ryan Suave was right. He said, you know, people get addicted to shame. Mm-hmm. But to me, it's the whole cycle, right? Mm-hmm. But the thing that I really want you to take in is that people learn from what comes out of your mouth. Mm. Yes, the stories are interesting, infinitely interesting and entertaining also. And yes, you have a gift for storytelling, just like you have a gift for art. But you know, people learn. And, you know, we touched on Bourdain, who I didn't know. I know you and Joe were both close to him. I know a couple other people were close to him. And, you know, I'm not here on a public service campaign. That's not how I do this podcast. I'm only here with you right now. But, you know, there are a lot of people offing themselves. A close friend do that recently. A very famous scientist that appeared to have everything, this kind of thing. And it's happening more and more. And I think that when people hear you, when I hear you, I know what people hear. They feel you. And they hear the extent to which Yeah, there a lot of hard stuff and great stuff happened, but you're still here and you're still going. And that example is really, really important.
Well, I don't want to be a survivor. You know, it's like I'm a survivor because I survived all this stuff, but so did everybody. And I'm not trying to like,
but you're still going.
But I don't want to survive. I want to thrive.
Right. You're a thriver.
That's why I think of like Korean Jesus or Pee Wee Herman. And I go, it was like, I try to keep things light and entertaining. It was a lot. It was really painful, right? If you get it, it wasn't easy, and it wasn't easy for everyone. But so then you go, well, will you work on yourself? Will you do this work? Will you go to a meeting? And it's like, are we having fun yet? Right? It's like, it's a lot of fucking pain and work to just be, you know? And the question is like, is like, are we having fun yet? Like, aren't we supposed to have fun? Like, you know, my son wakes up every morning laughing. I go, what the fuck is happening up there? What is, like, I can't remember the last time I woke up smiling. It's like, and I'm like, oh, if we can remember, like, it was dumb doing the secret word, but I loved it. Like, you guys scared the shit. Like, you know, and it's people, you know, trigger warning. They do, like, there's a lot of people killing themselves, like on an epidemic, men. Like, I don't know that many women, but a lot of men.
Mostly men.
And so a powerful tool, because I've done so much reckless shit. I'm a miracle that I'm here right now. And I'm not saying that to be like,
No, I think it is a miracle.
I could have been dead a lot of times.
No, I think God's been looking out for you.
So I say to myself, without aggrandizing myself or being on like some guru messiah type shit, it's like, so I made it through that. I am having fun, despite how much I cry and stuff. But even that, like, I would be called a pussy and all that if I did that. And I go, allowing myself to feel everything, and so I learned this tool called just play the tape out, right? So you go, if you're an idiot, you're an idiot. But if you have any level of intelligence, you go, well, how do you think this ends for you? How do you think this drug problem ends for you? How do you think cheating on your wife ends for you? How do you think nonstop like, it doesn't end well, right? That's one of my favorite things to tell my friend. It's okay right now. It's I go, but addiction and it just escalates. It doesn't stay. You don't just kind of like, and in someone like me, it escalates very quickly. So it's dangerous. And addiction loves novelty, right? So if someone's sucking dick for crack in an alley right now, that little boy, he wasn't a little boy when they go, I hope I do that one day. That happened. Started with weed, then it went to coke, and it just escalated, right? He wasn't like, I want to do degrading acts that I don't want to do for drugs, but it escalated. And that's on the addict side. But I just found myself having a lot of, I swear, like weird broken promise. I swear I'll never do that. But then I'm like, here I am in this weird place doing weird shit that's going against my value system. Here I am. Oh, I'm chasing the shame again. So I know this is kind of hypocritical because I'm applying logic again. But if you just talk to someone and you use this tool of, hey, you're not an idiot, play the tape out. Your behavior that's like chasing a bottom or destructive or not that destructive yet, but it's on the path and you're like, yeah, I'll be all right. It's like, just play it out. Like, how do you think this ends for you? Right? I go, I need to go back to podcasting. Right? And then I go on these podcasts and I go, are we having fun yet? Or is it like, you seem like you got the weight of the world on your shoulders. You seem miserable. You seem like you can find, like, it's just like in general, I don't find podcasters like happy people. It's just like, I go, so when, you know, and cut, let's go. And it's like, oh shit, sponsors. It's like, I gotta the numbers are going down this. And I'm like, can we have fun? Like, is it only about making money and just, it's enough. Like and it's because we live in a society, especially if you live in a city where the messaging from billboards to social, everything is telling you from the second you wake up. It's not hundreds, it's thousands of messages telling you you're not enough, right? And so I do the brain mapping, I do it, and it's like, wow, Dave, you're really hard on yourself. You say so much. It's like if someone said that to my friend, I would do something. So it's like a lot of punishing, like self-talk, and then it feels gay to say I'm enough. It's like that's that again. Why do you have to say it like that? It's like, oh, I'm worthy. I am a good person. I am a good father. I am a good friend. I am a good brother. It's like, this sounds like just self-help, but I was able to brainwash myself into believing I was the best artist in the world so why can't I brainwash myself into thinking I'm a good person? So then I go, when I meet people, I want to say nice stuff, like real stuff, not like that's how I feel. And it's like, that's weird. I don't want to just tell someone his shirt fits good on him, but it does. I mean, even for black, it does. So the tools is like, writing with deodorant, like a thick, white, chunky deodorant, just so I see it. So it's in my psyche because it's every day it's billboards of good-looking people and I don't look like that. And so the messaging is all fucked up. And unless I'm just going to say fuck all internet and just move to the African wilderness, which I might do, I just write on the wall, I am worthy, I'm enough. And I see it every morning when I wash my face. And it's just like I'm starting to brainwash myself. It's like that's one tool, is like telling people I love and I care about how I feel about them, not till they're dead, not till it's like they're in their bottom and I'm like, hey, and it's like I tell them every day because that's all we have. And then I say that about myself. And then I can catch myself, like that bridge that was like basically like a suicide bridge, just like reckless behavior, reckless, irresponsible behavior, immature behavior. But all of this shit is hard because I'm coming at it with generations of a story that says you need to stay sick. Like when you hear Kanye say bipolar is my superpower, like there's a part of me that's like, of course. And I like my artists fucked up. The more fucked up you are, that's true genius. That's, and I go, I have friends close to me that go, as someone who's as creative as you, you're so like boring and small thinking when you just buy into those things. It's like, is there anyone who lives a moderate life, just a regular, everything doesn't have to be jumping on a train and like that is doing great art? And I go, show me an example. And I go, but couldn't you be the first? Well, there's ego and narcissism. And it's just like, and then, okay, fine. Let's play that tape out. Let's just say for you to make the choice to be a normal person, you're never going to have the best podcast or the best art. You're just going to be kind of like right there, 70%. What's wrong with that? But that's going against everything, right? So I have to, it's hard, and especially something with art where there's just people that are like, you're literally doing the worst art I've ever seen in my life. I wish, it's like, oh, their first album was good type shit, And there's part of me that's like, yeah, this earlier stuff had more angst and way more detail and more labored over. And the stuff now is way more looser. But I love it now. Like, I like myself, how I feel. And it's very rare that you have, it's, the whole lonely at the top, that you have these champions, people that are like the best at what they do, the top 1% of the world champion of this, that you meet them and they're just like a content, satisfied, happy. They're just miserable. And you're like, what was the point? Why? And it's either you have the courage through yourself and friends to make that change. Like I'll if you take a year off, like we're going to hang out a lot. Like we're gonna paint.
That's awesome incentive.
Like we're gonna do all that, but it's like it's always like you got to do it alone. That was my message. Mm-hmm. Shut the fuck up. Don't complain. Like very Asian, very Korean. Like don't say anything. Like someone fucking treats you like shit. Just keep your head down and it's all revenge is a dish best served cold. Just fucking shut. Don't ever let them know. See what you coming. See how you feel, and just your revenge is success. Like just. Like that guy treated you shit at work, then just become the guy that owns that business and then fire him. I'm so fucking glad that guy Chip got fired. That felt so good.
Chip sounds like an asshole.
He was such an asshole. But I have to, and those things, all these tools are like, okay, cool. They're all simple. Okay, wake up every day and say I'm a good person. Yeah, it's simple, but it's hard. It's not easy. You have to like work at it.
And feel it.
Yeah, like, get up every day and do 100 push-ups. I could do that, but I don't. but you could. It's like, but you care about your physical health, but why wouldn't you do that for your mental health? What, your spiritual health? You know, it's like, oh, I'm not religious. It's like, spirituality is, it's the ocean, it's the universe, it's a power greater than you, right? So, that playing the tape out is a very valuable, powerful, like I need to take action in this way. And sometimes the action is to do less, and it's to do nothing, where everything growing up was do more. And I was going to say, am I making any sense? But through your face, I could see that I feel like, I feel heard and I feel understood in this moment, which is very special to me. So thank you.
Thank you. You are absolutely heard and you're absolutely understood. And I'm very grateful to you. And I know everyone listening is too. The permission to tell oneself and feel that they are enough that's oddly the hardest thing, but the encouragement is heard. It lands.
I think also because I talk so much about shame, and I'll end it with this. It feels like hope and faith is also a very powerful drug. And sometimes, like I said, with my mom or me believing in Santa, like there's no logic in that. But you know, entire wars and nations are fought over faith, and you know, and I feel like, because I'm sensitive and I'm empathetic to everybody that I meet, that it feels like a really hopeless time. And I feel like that's why there's a lot of self-harm and depression. And so it's like weird. It's like, how would you be hopeful in a city like LA where there's like 70,000 homeless people, like natural disasters, drug epidemics, you know, just all this shit. And it's like, then to brainwash yourself, like, because that's what the connection is. Like, if I don't believe it, to go out there and meet someone in real life and say, hey, it was like the hardest thing to do. It's like, I need help right now. I can't. It's like weird to admit to someone that I can't do, like, I can't even come up with one nice thing to say about myself. Can you say something nice about me? That sounds very egotistic, but I need that right now. I really don't like myself right now. And to have someone say something nice, and you go, okay, maybe tomorrow I'll be able to say something nice about myself. And then you're building something called hope and faith. And so I don't know. I told a long Pee Wee Herman story, but at the end of that, I was like, what was that? It's like, okay, that's resilience. That's taking chance. That's believing in yourself. But I never gave up hope. You know, it's like, it's just, and that's delusional in a way, but that's like, how? Like, if you take facts and numbers and it's like, this is the end of the world. This is like, AI's gonna kill, like all this fucking doomsday post-apocalyptic. It's like, I don't need that shit, dude. I don't watch horror movies. I don't surround myself with, like, that's fine. Like, that's, everyone do your own thing. And like I said, you know, we were both like, we like punk, but we don't like hardcore. Like, I used to love hardcore because I needed that. I needed to hear that message vibrationally and spiritually and sonically to go like, oh, that guy's singing at a frequency that's resonating with me. It doesn't now. And I fucking hated reggae my whole life because those people were happy. And now I listen to reggae. You know, I go reggae on the river or whatever, you know, like, and I'm just like, you know, and I immediately judge. I go, I can't believe you're fucking listening to reggae. This is like stoner music, but the frequency is hitting me now. So I can be appreciative of hardcore music. But yeah, I if I look back and I go, what was that? What the fuck was that? It was just screaming for help, lost and hopeless. And I just go, hope is a hard thing to have in a time like this, but not if you ask for help, not if you reach out, not if you connect with other people. And that is gonna be impossible to do if you don't. You need to, you know, now I sound like I'm a fucking know-it-all, but it's like you need to deprive yourself of electronics. Like it has to happen. Like you can't have real emotion if you're watching TV or your phone. Like it's the only way. Like anytime, it's like a secret language. Anytime I'm out and someone has a clamshell phone or a flip phone, a dumb phone, whatever, a brick phone, they have whatever you call it, I give a wink. I go, yeah. Because I know I'm like, this guy, he cares about himself. Because you can't, I gotta fucking see. Like, no, you don't. You don't need to know who's being murdered on every country, and what are you gonna do about it? Nothing. So I believe, I have faith that we're all here for a reason, and to anyone listening, and I don't know when this is coming out, and I honestly didn't know I was gonna publicly come out about my belief in Santa Claus, but it is the season. Is this gonna come out soon or after Christmas? Okay. Just try it on. Just like, I know it's stupid, but just believe in Santa. Like I know kids already do, but any grown-ups, bitter, jaded adults listening, just try it on this year. And if you need, he can teleport. He's a mutant. He has special abilities. And he knows if you've been naughty or nice. So yeah, I don't know. I could like, this is the problem, because where we're at now is when I would start. Like this was like like when I used to do my podcast, DVD, I say this be like, oh, it wasn't a podcast because it wasn't a conversation. It was you talking the whole time, and we're 3 hours in, and be like, okay, now let's start. Let's get ugly and real, and be like, nobody likes to talk for 9 hours, dude. I'm like, I do. So I feel like you'd be down if we wanted to go 6 more hours.
Easy.
And we could maybe do that one day.
We should.
But I feel like, I don't know. Am I, you know what? I'm surrendering. I feel like, unless you have more shit to ask me, then I'm down.
Oh, man, in the language of meetings and other things, I think for now,
yeah,
we're complete.
Thank you so much, man.
Thank you.
Thank you. That was so, I feel good.
I feel good too. Very grateful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining me for today's discussion with David Choe. To learn more about him and his work, please see the links in the show note captions. If you're learning from and or enjoying this podcast, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. That's a terrific zero-cost way to support us. In addition, please follow the podcast by clicking the follow button on both Spotify and Apple. And on both Spotify and Apple, you can leave us up to a 5-star review. And you can now leave us comments at both Spotify and Apple. Please also check out the sponsors mentioned at the beginning and throughout today's episode. That's the best way to support this podcast. If you have questions for me or comments about the podcast, or guests or topics that you'd like me to consider for the Huberman Lab podcast, please put those in the comment section on YouTube. I do read all the comments. For those of you that haven't heard, I have a new book coming out. It's my very first book. It's entitled Protocols, an Operating Manual for the Human Body. This is a book that I've been working on for more than 5 years, and that's based on more than 30 years of research and experience. And it covers protocols for everything from sleep to exercise to stress control, protocols related to focus and motivation. And of course, I provide the scientific substantiation for the protocols that are included. The book is now available by pre-sale at protocolsbook.com. There you can find links to various vendors. You can pick the one that you like best. Again, the book is called Protocols, an Operating Manual for the Human Body. And if you're not already following me on social media, I am Huberman Lab on all social media platforms. So that's Instagram, X, Threads, Facebook, and LinkedIn. And on all those platforms, I discuss science and science-related tools, some of which overlaps with the content of the Huberman Lab podcast, but much of which is distinct from the information on the Huberman Lab podcast. Again, it's Huberman Lab on all social media platforms. And if you haven't already subscribed to our Neural Network newsletter, the Neural Network newsletter is a zero-cost monthly newsletter that includes podcast summaries as well as what we call protocols in the form of 1 to 3 page PDFs that cover everything from how to optimize your sleep, how to optimize dopamine, deliberate cold exposure. We have a foundational fitness protocol that covers cardiovascular training and resistance training. All of that is available completely zero cost. You simply go to hubermanlab.com, go to the menu tab in the top right corner, scroll down to newsletter, and enter your email. And I should emphasize that we do not share your email with anybody. Thank you once again for joining me for today's discussion with David Choe. And last, but certainly not least, thank you for your interest in science.